3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today's guest, really excited for this gentleman to be on the show. He was my camper many, many moons ago. He's been killing it for years. Heavily underrated, especially on the steel. From Ontario, Canada. He loves shitty tin boats. And he's also a big Leafs fan, who are also knocked out of the playoffs, similar to the Winnipeg Jets. Also, co-hosting today, we have Marty Vachon, an absolute legend on the steel too, and close friend to our guest, Nick Elliott. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, Jody. Well, wait, before we get things going, since 1966, 66?
Dude, I deleted that.
People don't forget.
People don't forget. I tried to forget that because I did that piece, that bite during COVID, and I removed that from the introduction of the podcast based on insecurities. Do you think that was a good move or a bad move?
I think it's so good. It's really funny.
I think you should have kept it in.
All right, let's start this off with, I feel both of you were attending the ECS Invitational, the 12th annual, if my memory serves me correct. Were you there in attendance?
I was in attendance with Marty over here. He's on the show because he's my emotional support dog.
I try to be there for you, buddy.
Yeah.
How was the event? Was it great?
It was good.
Oh, weather was pretty bad.
Snowing. It snowed the whole time. And then it got sunny at the end when everyone left.
For those that don't know, Evan, who's a legendary photographer who I've had on the podcast, has a quarter pipe event. Sometimes a jump, sometimes a little bit of a variation, a hybrid, a hip or jump or a mix of the two. Ben Bullock, the icon, normally comes there and helps shape the whole thing. People sleep in tents. They get after it, and people chuck carcass there. Marty has taken me out there and gave me a severe concussion one year. We're not going to point fingers here, but it might have been his fault. What was the carnage like this year? Who was standout?
There wasn't much carnage except for Marty. Like Nick Cochran got salmon arms there. Set up like his tent like beside the clamshell feature.
Right next to it.
Like right beside it. He put like a tarp and then dug a cave and he put like the warehouse of salmon arms underneath there. I'm not even sure what was in there, but like a bunch of cardboard boxes full of mitts and like pies and a helmet and like whatever else he's got. And Marty airs like from the one hip like into the tarp, into the cave, like back row.
I felt like it would be good entertainment. Yeah, intentionally. Yeah, I did it twice. I didn't do it really that well like the first time, so I went for like the hole in one. But
so you're trying to jump from this like quarter pipe takeoff and then backdrop into Nick Haringa's like boxes and everything.
Yeah, the warehouse.
The warehouse.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, Nick's new warehouse.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do some shifts after that, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Any standout boarders?
Like the Schmob kids. So sick.
Yeah.
Any specifics?
Finn Finestone won.
Yeah.
I'd never met him or seen him board, and he was on a sick one.
He's got good stee.
Yeah. He looks good doing the thing.
Okay, so winners of the ECS, you got people like Nick Haringa, Bryn Alexander, Jack McDougall. Who else is one?
Jaden. Boob Eyes, the reigning champ from last year.
Yeah. Stathis won 1 year?
Stathis won 1 year. Ben Bullock won.
It's the 12th one, so I guess there's 11 winners.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
12 now because the event's over.
Who was the first winner? Is that Nick?
I think maybe Nick with the barefoot McTwist, 1 foot.
Yeah. What's the barefoot McTwist? He had a boot off?
You don't know this?
He took a boot off, 1 foot McTwist on a quarter pipe. That might not have been the first one, though.
I don't know. But
yeah,
he definitely did that. Yeah. Almost, yeah. That could have been fatal.
Do you feel that events like the ECS and Airtime held its first event, which Nick was in attendance, called the Canadian Open? I was going to go Snow Jam because there used to be like a contest when I was growing up in the 90s that I think toured around Canada, and it was called Snow Jam. I thought that could be funny. I also thought it could be the Airtime Classic, Bite of the West Beach Classic.
I do like that.
I like that
nice.
almost more than the Canadian Open, so I might switch it next year to the Airtime Classic too, or switch it up because it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But do you feel like those events are important to boarding, Nick?
I think, those events are amazing for the snowboard community. I think especially like, the kind of like the local core group who doesn't get the same opportunity on like the bigger scale, get invited, get to come to these things, meet some super sweet people. They get to board, feel comfortable boarding, like no pressure. It's so sick.
Yeah, I feel like they really get their, I don't want to say 5 minutes of fame, but like there's photographers there, there's filmers there, there's normally a couple people maybe from like King Snow or a magazine, and like sometimes you do get like a full page from that going to that event. Sometimes you do win it, and maybe it can a ripple effect into getting on Salmon Arms or something like that.
Like yesterday there was like 5 different photographers, like 3 filmers, like there's no shortage of media on the deck.
There is a little bit of like when you hike because you have to hike all the way up to the top of Seymour, and you get up there, and I feel like from my experience a lot of times I'm even intimidated, you know what I mean? You're like, fuck, there's a bunch of boarders I don't know that well, like you're just sitting there, but eventually there's like this feeling of like everybody's just here to have some fun. It's the end of the year. And it's fun when you get into the big rotation, and everybody from the person who's doing a 1 foot straight air that's just learning to the guy doing a 1-footed McTwist is part of the session, and it's like that's like special. It's rad.
And like you can come hang out. Like I barely boarded yesterday, hit it a few times, and then just started heckling.
Hey, you showed up.
And it's just so fun. Like couple tins, hang out with the boys and girls.
Any notable women figures there? Did Dara show up?
Dara was there. Yeah, DRM. Shout out.
Yeah.
Halle Berry.
Who's Halle Berry?
Who's Halle Berry?
A rider.
She's a rider.
Also Meg.
Yeah,
Meg made finals there.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Meg.
Dang.
She was doing some big like frontside airs.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in there.
Couple notables.
She might have
for
almost
sure.
won.
Sounds like she was pretty close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe we can quickly pivot here to I feel like this is a big part of who you are now, firefighting.
Oh wow.
You've got into that as of when?
So this is my 8th season. I love the job. It's super sick. Great people I work with.
Okay, what's your role there at the fire department?
I'm an initial attack crew leader out of the Pemberton wildfire base. And basically, so initial attack, we'll get called. My crew will get called. We'll be dispatched to a fire. We'll either drive there in our pickup or fly there in a heli if we have a machine available. And we try and put the fire out within the first 72 hours, get it either out or under control. So then it doesn't become one of these fires that you hear about on the news. We, hit hard, hit fast, if you will.
Is that like kind of the motto?
No, but.
but that's your motto.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 8 years.
Yeah, it's my 8th season. My rookie year, I was actually in Lytton. And I was living in Whistler at the time, and I knew I wanted to transfer and be close to Whistler, and I knew Pemberton had a crew. So I transferred to Pemberton my second year.
And are you called a firefighter, or is it called like a forest firefighter?
Yeah, forest firefighter, wildland firefighter. People often get it confused with like structural firefighting, big red trucks and whatnot.
Which I'd say is more badass.
What the? I think what you're doing with the chainsaws and the
that's
heli.
what I'm saying. What he's doing is more badass.
We see
They're both badass.
Yes, for sure, but I
we
admire
see
it.
way more fire than a structural
Right.
firefighter does.
Right. Yeah, bigger.
They go to a lot of
Probably
like
bigger
medical
ones.
calls and car accidents and whatnot, which is amazing. We need people like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like we're kind of more in the trenches, in the woods. Like,
In the trenches in the winter and the summer.
So give us a rundown on what a typical day looks like for you mid-season.
Okay, say mid-season, it's been hot, it's been dry for weeks. There's a fire ban on, it's like we're on red alerts. We have a helicopter at base. It's loaded. We're sitting there just waiting for a fire call. And like, we check weather every day. We see that there's lightning in the forecast. So, we're on our toes. We're super ready. And then boom, lightning hits. It'll be like, usually if you're getting lightning, it'll be multiple starts across the fire zone there.
Damn.
So basically it gets reported, someone, usually public, like, hey, there's smoke, we'll get a call. You fly out there, we'll size up the fire. give an IFR to Coastal Dispatch, which is actually in Parksville for a coastal fire center. Size it up. What kind of resources are we going to need to put this fire out? And, if we're flying there, we have to find like a helipad, somewhere we can land. And if there's no pad, we'll hover exit. So basically the helicopter gets like pretty close to the ground and you like hover out. It's only like 2 feet or so. We have training for it, but you like hover onto the fire.
So you basically jump out of the
you don't jump. No, you like slowly walk out of a helicopter, and it's like they're super fucking loud. It's like, so yeah, we get boots on the ground, and it doesn't have to be by helicopter. Like a lot of hikes in. Yeah.
How serious should people take fire bans?
It's set in stone. Just don't have a fire. Like
I feel like no matter
it's not that complicated.
No matter what, you gotta be smart
like,
about it with fires and.
But back to fighting fire. So we get there, we get boots on the ground, and so finding a water source. You're not always is there going to be a lake or a river right beside your fire. So there's ways that we have to get water to the fire from like a helicopter bringing in a still well, or like a samosa, like a balloon full of water on a long line, dropped in close to the target.
So they drop the water?
Yeah, like on a long line in like a big balloon. So then we do have water there.
Is the balloon targeted for a specific area, or does it get dispersed over like how much?
No, it'll be like put on the ground, and like this balloon will be right there on the ground with you, this still well. And then we have our pumps in our bags, and then we pump from that still well to put the fire out.
I always thought they just dropped the balloon.
Well, there's buckets. We'll have bucket support from machines as well.
Okay.
But like aircraft don't put fire out. It's put out by boots on the ground. The firefighters on the ground.
Crazy.
That will buy us time, buckets, and retardant from aircraft. But
have you ever been a part of like a mission? Like you get the call, there's a fire that's going on, you get dropped off, boots in the ground, and you've helped put out one of these fires that could have been a lot more catastrophic, and you're like a part of that?
Yeah, that's like my favorite part. And we see it, especially last year we put out, I don't know, like 13 fires in zone in Pemberton. And like we got them while they were small. Because if you think every fire starts small. So we want to put it out before it becomes this one you hear about on the news. And we saw it where we were stood down from a target way down Pemberton Meadows. It started off at 8 hectares and then ended up burning thousands of hectares, over like Keyhole hot springs and whatnot. So like, it's cool to see that, it works, initial attack.
I'm imagining a big part of a fire picking up a lot of momentum and going from, you said like a couple hectares to like hundreds or thousands. Does wind play a big factor in that?
That's like one of the main factors of fire. Wind, topography.
I mean, yeah,
slope.
air will like.
But wind, if you got outflow winds coming in, like that'll blow shit up. Yeah. And you're like, those have been historic days when you have outflow winds.
So what's outflow?
Inland blowing towards the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Inland blowing towards.
It's similar to, I think, like surfing. You have like onshore or offshore winds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And back to the initial attack. So that's a 4-person crew. Me and 3 others. It's a really small crew. There is also like unit crews, which is a 20-person crew, and they're kind of more of a provincial resource, get deployed all over the province. Where initial attack, you kind of stay based more in your local zone. So I'm kind of, for sea to sky, essentially, like Pemberton, Squamish, Whistler, plus surrounding backcountry. So it's sweet, like fighting fire where you live, especially on the coast here. Like it's so beautiful, and like the timber here is so big, old growth. Like, yeah, very fortunate to work here.
Would you say you love what you do?
I do love what I do. It's a lot of fun. Obviously it has its like bullshit and like days where you're just like, fuck this. I don't want to be here right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I love it.
I think it's pretty dope.
Actually, I always want to be there.
Rad. No, that's. Do you think that this is like your career? You're going to continue to do this like for the at least short-term future?
Yes. I mean, I remember my first year, actually, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't love it. I don't know if I'm going to come back. And now 8 seasons later, I'm like, it kind of grows on you. You love it more and more. You sacrifice your summer.
I mean, to be fair, that first year was Lytton, and
Yeah.
you were like living out of your truck. And I remember, I remember you not necessarily loving the process, which is understandable considering the experience that you had that first year. But
Yeah.
now you're in Pemby, living in Pemby. You can be a lot more lenient on, I guess, like just your routine and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can still go do what you want to do, and you'll be on call like you've been a lot of times, but you'll just be 30 minutes out of your base and still go do what you want to do. Which
Yeah,
is,
exactly. Like standby is a big thing where you got to be 30 minutes from the fire base in Pemby, and you got to be fit for duty. So, sober and whatnot, in service so you can get a phone call.
Have you ever gotten a call where it's like an emergency? You know what I mean? Like you were saying, firefighters, a lot of times if you're working in like a city, they get a call for like an accident. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, this is serious. We need you there now. Like, have you ever gotten a call like, hey, this fire is fucking out of control and we have to do something now? And you're like, whoa, this call's a little different than the other calls.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, normally if it's at that point, you're on red alerts. So like if there's going to be a fire, by the numbers of the FFMCs, the DCs, the DMCs, which no one knows what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
but
can
it's
you run that?
basically
What does that mean?
how dry the forest floor is and like the timber around, how much moisture content is in the fuels.
Okay.
And so when it's super dry and you'll be on red alert, you'll be at base ready, waiting.
You're expecting
You're
something,
kind of expecting
something
it.
bad to happen.
So most of the time, if you do get a call like that, say like, oh, interface fire, like open flame, like houses threatened, life property threatened, you'll be already at base, like ready to go.
Does a low snow year affect forest fires at all? Like if we don't have
For
the
sure.
same amount of
100%.
Just
Like
less moisture on the mountain.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it'll dry out quicker, which it did this year. I think there was still like 30 feet of snow that fell in the Alpine, but it's the more snow on the ground, the more it's going to penetrate the ground, make it wet.
yeah.
Also, without getting lots of rain and snow in the winter, like streams dry out, like our water sources on the mountains. Usually you might have like a little stream coming down. That's totally dry.
That's
You don't,
And those play a big role, or more of a role than we think.
Yeah, exactly. That's our like water source to put this fire out.
Based on this last season that we've had, we're here in 2024. Is this predicted to be a moderate? Is it like on the higher end? Like what are you forecasting for this year?
It's already popping off up north. I actually recently just got back from Chetwynd, which is I think like 3 hours north of Prince George. A 2-week deployment there. There was this fire that was like a few kilometers away from town. So we got deployed there. We did 7 days on the line, got it like under control. And then it was just 7 days of standby in a hotel.
So is the line, is that where, does that mean like the trench you dig, or kind of like that blocking? Like what do you mean by line?
Oh, on the fire line. So it's just the word like you're on the job site.
Okay.
The job site, fire line.
Okay. Front line,
Yeah.
ready to go.
The trenches.
They haven't called you to rush the other side yet, which is a
No,
fire.
yeah. True.
Have you ever had any like experiences where you get dropped by the heli? I'm imagining you got your fireproofish gear, and what kind of tools do you have on you before I continue to elaborate?
You got your PPE,
What's that?
personal protective equipment.
Okay.
So it's like you got Nomex, which is fire resistant material. Like we wear a red shirt, blue pants,
Oh, nice.
fire resistant. You got your hard hat, your whistle, just like in snowboarding backcountry. You got your whistle.
A beacon.
Shovel though, that's one in common of the two. Yeah, you got a spade. That's pretty good for digging up hot spots. But also a Pulaski, which is like an axe, but then on the other end is a hoe. It's good for like digging guard.
Yeah.
I've heard this before, but since you actually are a professional in this and you've been doing this trade for 8 years, can fire go under the ground, like root fires? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
So like they go under the ground, they burn the root, and they'll connect to like a tree or something but
For
underground.
Sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's you gotta like. You gotta put like.
That's
oh
a
yeah.
trick.
And depending on how dry it is, the deeper it will burn.
Wow.
And then the harder it is to put out.
Yeah.
Because like you're actually like cold trail. You'll be like digging up a spot and you're like feeling it with your hands. Is this like if you still feel heat, like it's not out.
Whoa.
And you gotta like, keep digging.
To follow that up, so you get dropped off, you have these tools. Have you ever been in a situation where the wind changes and it goes from being like you're safe to like you have to get evacuated like ASAP because it's kind of unpredictable or life-threatening?
Okay, can I bring it back to bring more tools into this?
100%.
Yeah, so wait. So, we got our Pulaski, our shovel. We'll also have a pump kit, a little pump. It's called a mini striker we're using. Like 10 lengths of hose, a chainsaw, 2 chainsaws, and overnight gear, camp food if we have to stay the night.
So that might be unpredictable. Like you're not planning on doing that.
Yeah, you want to make your decision early so everyone knows what's going on. Okay. But you bring full camp setup. So if you have to sleep on the hill for the night,
crazy. If
something happens and the machine can't get you off the helicopter, like you have your tent, your sleeping bag, your mat, your food for 48 hours.
Yeah, but you're setting up base camp near a fire. Doesn't that seem a little sketchy?
It does.
You wake up and the fire's a lot closer than you thought. Like all the wind shifted.
Totally. Like we've woken up in the middle of the night and been like, oh fuck, like we kind of have to do something about this now because it's like picking back up. So we thought it was maybe under control and it's not. So we're getting out of bed.
You have had to stay the night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's fun camping up there with your friends.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you is, I know that you'll start the fire to basically create like a burn off area. I'm not using the correct words, I'm sure, but how is that experience? You're starting a fire. That must be scary.
It feels really productive, but if the fire can't burn what's already been burned.
Yeah.
So if you, create a bunch of black across a guard, so let's say a road, and then you burn off 50 feet off the road into the timber. Yeah. Once that fire reaches that point, all the fuels hopefully has been consumed and the fire, will stop there is the idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the best ways to fight fire is
with fire.
Believe it or not, with fire. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, maybe wrapping this up before we kind of pivot again. Mm-hmm. What steps can we take to prevent these fires? Are there any? As like a community, as like even your yard, is there like, should you keep your yard in like a certain manner?
It's called, like you can fire smart your home.
What does that entail?
It maybe like if you have a bunch of wood stacked up beside your house, maybe not do that. Get rid like.
No, that's a good point.
I'm not expert in fire smart.
Anything that could go up.
But I know even like if you have like a cedar roof, maybe think about getting a metal roof on there. Call up GH Roofing.
Yeah.
Gordon Hall.
Ooh, plug
for the homie.
But yeah, you can fire smart your house.
Nice.
But like in the big picture, there's not.
I feel like it's just being smart, like listening to the.
Yeah, don't have a fire if there's a campfire ban on. Yeah. If you're a big dirt biker, ATVer, make sure you have a spark arrestor.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do cigarettes actually start wildfires too? Like
so, if you're driving down the highway, maybe not throw your ciggy out the window.
When it's super fucking dry.
Maybe just eat
forever.
it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But back to all the fire up north too. Like there's fire all over the landscape, like Fort Nelson, Fort St. John, the upper half of BC. That's been burning all winter. It was never put out. And now that it's gotten hot again, we're end of May, mid-May. Like these fires are coming back to life, like back from the dead.
That's crazy.
So if this is another bad year, we already have all these fires on the landscape from last year.
The wild part about forest fires to me is that it doesn't just affect people in Whistler, in Vancouver, in BC, in Alberta. Like the fires in the last couple of years have gotten so bad that like my parents in Winnipeg will be like, it's fully smoked in here from your fires.
Yeah.
Like they go all over all North America, and I'm imagining that does a lot for a lot of different things.
Honestly, just to touch base on that, I think that it's kind of nice to, it's obviously bad to hear that, but it's good that people from areas that don't get affected by those things kind of do, so they kind of snap into it and they're like, oh wow, like this is touching me now. This is a true problem. Sometimes I feel like people who live in places that don't have those direct effects might not even kind of know or understand like there is some issues going on that need to be.
And they would be the ones that travel here let's say in July or August, and they're like, what's a fire ban?
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
Yeah,
Like, we
yeah.
live,
Yeah.
you know, you're from, I don't know, Manitoba or whatever, and you come out here and you're like, a fire ban? I'm going to put it out properly, and then, you know, you're the person that... Can you get a big fine for that?
Oh, for sure. If you have a fire during a fire ban, I'm like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, you might even go to jail. Is like what can people do? Like, it's hard to answer that because it's like the bigger picture almost with like, don't want to get in too much, but like global warming, how every year, like it's getting worse. There's no shortage of work for wildfire. Yeah, before we close on that topic, if there's anyone out there that's interested in becoming a wildland firefighter, please don't hesitate. Hit me up. I'll help you try and get through the application process.
I also just want to say it's super dope that you do that job. I think a lot of people admire it, and it's kind of sick. Like, I'll tell my friends, like, yeah, like,
Thank you.
Elliott, he's a forest firefighter, and they're like, whoa, like, holy shit.
Thank you
like,
for your
crap.
service.
Yeah, no, you
Straight up. Dude, police officers,
Yeah, it's really
firefighters, paramedics, like the
Very-
biggest nurses,
Yeah.
like the biggest...
Very admirable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Big shout outs to all those people. All right, let's change gears a little bit here. I got a couple questions here about childhood, just so people can kind of get to know Nick without doing the same question. Like, how did you get into snowboarding? And it's like, oh, my older brother. Nah, okay. We're gonna skip that, and we're gonna go childhood questions. What was your first concert you ever went to?
Oh, first concert, Tragically Hip.
No way.
Yeah, okay,
no
wait,
fucking
wait, wait.
way.
And guess, out of all places, where?
Bob Cajun.
It was in Bob Cajun.
No way.
Legend.
That's awesome.
I think Coulter Hurd was actually there too.
No
That
way.
was sweet.
That might be, the best first concert you could possibly go to.
And then
as
I
a
followed
Canadian.
it up with seeing them 2 more times live.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really, really good first concert. Did you go? Was that family or?
No, just like I guess I was a fan growing up, and yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, love Tragically Hip. Good pick. Number 2, what was your favorite subject in school?
Gym class.
Legend. Great response.
That's easy.
What was the favorite activity in gym class?
Oh, dodgeball.
No. Nice. Nice.
Good. Good way to jump in there, Marty. Good one. I'm glad we extract dodgeball. Were you good?
Yeah, I think I was like pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, least favorite subject in school.
Oh. Yeah, maybe math.
What about math? The numbers? Your teacher?
I'm just not that good with numbers, maybe.
What's
No.
4 times 7?
7, 14, 21, 28. Yeah, I got it. You know how I got to do it like that?
That's a
Like,
good process.
Yeah, hey,
I like
yeah.
that.
I like
You
that
weren't
break-
using your fingers.
It's like a song, though, you know?
Okay. 9 times 7.
70.
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Fuck. That's the 9 times. Oh, that's
Is
7
that
times
49?
7.
No.
Oh, fuck.
What's 9 times 7?
63. All right, moving on.
Wow, that was so bad.
Okay. What were you super into growing up other than skateboarding and snowboarding in that kind of field?
I played soccer. Yeah. Rep soccer.
But you were into it.
Yeah, no, I was for sure. Yeah, there was one point where like, you know, I was getting kind of good. But then I was like, I want to not train in the winter and I want to snowboard.
Oh, you,
So it comes back to snowboarding still,
but you were training. Like if you're training in the off season for soccer,
yeah,
then you're pretty into it.
you know. Yeah, exactly. But then it came to a point where, you know, just
Yeah, I
wanna
remember.
ride.
I remember you rocking the soccer bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was a soccer guy.
But
for
yeah,
sure.
back to sports though. I wish I played hockey. I had the opportunity, and I remember I like didn't want to at the time, but I wish I did because now I'm playing hockey in Whistler.
It's fun.
Yeah, with Brody Wolf, 4-on-4 league.
No way, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I scored the other
No
day.
way.
And I can't stop on skates. Okay, so it's 2-on-1.
I don't think I've ever seen you skate.
Yeah, I can barely skate. I can't stop. So we're going down. It's 2-on-1. And so obviously Buddy's not going to pass to me because I'm garbage. So he just shoots it on net, and I know like get to the net.
Oh, yeah, I always get
So
to
I'm
the
just
net.
right there, and I like the puck comes close to me. I just like put my stick on it, not really even aiming, and then it like goes between the goalie's legs, and I just keep moving and smash into the boards that I'm lying on the ground like. Ugh. And we were down 2-0. So I'm saying like, you know, I got us on the board, built momentum. We won like 8-3.
Nice.
And we also have our gold medal game tonight, 8:30 p.m. Meadow Park.
Hey, I'll be
Dude.
there.
Okay.
I'll be there to watch you
Sick.
bury
Thank
another
you.
I'd
one.
love to see that.
That was amazing, by the way.
You guys
Can't-
need a player?
Yeah, do you have equipment here?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll get you some.
I'll procure some. Procure.
All right, favorite toy growing up?
Favorite toy growing up? Maybe like this Hummer, like RC car.
Like drive?
Yeah, like
Remote.
Yeah.
Kale Stevens style.
Does Kale have those?
Kale's like big thing
Yeah.
growing up, and all of his old video parts and his ads and stuff like that were him driving
Yeah.
remote cars.
Right.
But also maybe even like once I got a little bit older, I got a pocket bike.
No way.
Do you know what those are? Like these mini like motorcycles.
But they're kind of
Like
dangerous.
crotch rocket. Yeah, it was like 49cc. But I remember I always wanted a dirt bike, and like didn't make sense me having one living in the suburbs. But like for some reason I could get a pocket bike. My dad was down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Equally as dangerous. 1 foot off the ground going 50 kilometers an hour.
Those things kind of rip for sure.
That might be my favorite toy. Forget the Hummer.
Yeah.
All right. What was your first job?
My first job was park staff at Dagmar Ski Resort.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Dagmar, which Marty is actually from.
Yeah.
Like 15 minutes north of Whitby, Ontario.
Okay.
40 minutes east of Toronto.
I mean, to touch on that, Nick was kind of a legend at Dagmar.
No way.
Yeah,
he was the
dude.
older guy that was kind of getting after it.
For sure. Him, Coulter, and a couple other guys.
Yeah, Brian
There's
Bowler.
Brian Bowler, Harrison Long. There was a few.
Quinn's from there as well.
Yeah,
Alul?
Quinalol.
Hello?
Alul?
I don't
Hello?
know. But Quinn's, yeah, Dagmar's so sick.
Dang, Dagmar
And-
just bringing out some
Yeah,
breeding.
and like I would just board, I was
Oh.
like kind of the park staff here. I wouldn't really rake anything. I just like
Jeff
you know?
Bowler as well. We gotta shout out Jeff Bowler. as
no,
well.
just kidding.
Yeah.
The park
The
staff.
two
Oh yeah,
Bowler.
Jeff Bowler.
Yeah, Jeff Bowler.
The
had a
park
big
staffs here
hand in
do
that.
rake.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But just make sure you take out like the medium, large steaks out every night so they can groom, and then you're just boarding all day wearing like a Dagmar jacket.
but you were lazy.
Yeah.
I love
That-
the honesty.
I'd
Yeah.
say though that
well, like
that
I'd board
year-
all night. You know, you're at school all day, then you go board, and yeah, you're getting paid like $11 an hour,
Yeah.
which is so
Oh,
sick
yeah,
to
that was
board. Like,
insane.
Okay, what job did you think you were going to be doing when you were older?
okay, so believe it or not, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a firefighter for some reason.
Come on.
I know, so wow, but I didn't know.
Dream come
and At the
true.
time, you know, it's like I thought it was just structural, big red truck, slide down the pole, go to house fires, and then moving out west is when I found out about wildfire.
Okay, so because you're just out there crushing it, this is a good opportunity for us to give out some swag. Here's an airtime tee for fighting forest fires.
No way.
Thanks, Jody. Damn.
No way.
Legend.
Yeah.
What was your first car?
It was a Ford Freestar minivan.
The minivan guy.
Was that the Eugene?
Yeah, I was a minivan guy. And what you do is you take out the middle seats, so the sliding door just opens up, and it's kind of like a flatbed. You know, just chuck your boards in, chuck people in there, and yeah, it was silver. We called it Eugene, because like you say, like for left turn Larry, right turn Roger, whatever it is. We'd go on trips and I'd go the wrong way. We'd have to make a bunch of U-turns. So we'd call it Eugene. Even though Eugene starts with an E, I think.
Word. Wasn't there a hole in the floor?
Yeah, oh yeah, like rusted right through.
Yeah.
Like you could see the ground?
Yeah. No, like the road would be flying
And-
by. You could look down.
Yeah, I would I wouldn't put any money into it, so I would just keep driving it without brakes. So I remember driving home from the mountain one spring and the brake pads fell off.
Yeah, it was with Adam Franks.
Yeah, and then apparently it's like a bunch of sparks are happening and someone's like, hey, you're gonna light on fire. Which yeah.
Funny enough, Adam actually just told me this story and I was losing my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds exactly like Eugene and Nick. That's awesome.
So yeah, don't do that to start a that might start a wildfire. Get your brakes done. There's a lot of hills in BC. Believe it or not.
All right, we got a Patreon question from big shout outs to the Patreon before we move on to the question. Thank you for supporting the show. Means the world. Don't support it if you don't have the cash. If you have extra cash, you can go $5 all the way to $100 a month, which nobody's done the $100 a month yet. It's called the I'm rich bitch. So if somebody's just rich.
Come on, guys.
All right. This question is from none other than Cody69.
No way.
Oh,
No
okay.
way.
Yeah. Favorite song to sing in the car?
Okay, it's with I did it with Cody the other day. I think it's called Trailer by Tony Stark, Cole Navin in Living Room. It's like the last song in that.
That's
Like,
a good one.
Yeah, you're the one for me.
Yeah.
Kind of like emo punk. I don't know.
I figured you were gonna go country, to be honest, but I like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know
That happened the other day, so that's like fresh on my mind with Cody.
All right, maybe we could ask you, which, I mean, we can kind of go into snowboarding now. When you were growing up, who really inspired and shaped your riding, a young Nick?
I'm gonna say probably. So okay, do you know P-Chat?
Yeah, Alex Beebe and that whole crew.
Yeah, they were from BB's from Oshawa, and I really like was into watching like local stuff because it was right, like they would go to spots that I would like want to know where those are, and I knew it was in my reach because they're from my area. So I was super into watching like P-Chat, BB, like Tyler Ashby, Kuzik was in it.
Jake Fine.
Jake Fine, yeah. And then they were called the Lost Boys. Yeah. And even like my, like Jeff Bowler was like the king growing up. He was so fucking good, still is. Like Brian Bowler's older brother. He has like 5 or 6 brothers, but the one just above him, like, was the Dagmar Prince.
He just had that natural ability.
Yeah, he was one to watch.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much of an impact those individuals have when you're young, especially when you can. For someone like yourself who actually grew up in somewhere like Ontario, which Marty did too, you guys drive around, I'm imagining, and there's spots that are not only in your local videos, but pros from all over the world are going to Quebec and Ontario. Simone Chamberlain's from there. There's like legit pros that are making it happen, and you're on your school bus or whatever, and you drive by a spot that like somebody like John Cooley tail pressed or whatever, like that impact is like profound, or at least I'm imagining it was.
I also remember you being a big Jake Kuzik fan, having the K2 board. I remember like I was younger, and I remember hearing about Jake Kuzik as well as the Lost Boys through you. Yeah. And it was kind of like this trickle down effect, which is really dope.
Yeah, like I definitely still am, but like huge fan of Kuzik growing up.
Yeah.
I remember like his retrospect part came out.
Oh yeah.
And I was like watching it with Coulter. And I had him on Facebook, and I had like a few beers, and then like wrote on his wall like "You're my idol" or something.
You wrote
his
on
Facebook
Kuzik's
wall?
Like Facebook wall or something. Like,
so Retrospect came out in like 2011, just for a time frame and that's Videograss.
Yeah,
and that was a big one for me too, because that was when Videograss went from just pure core borders to they had Kuzik ended that movie and Jake Blauvelt opened that movie.
Yeah.
And it was like a banging, well-rounded video. I mean, Ika was in the middle in the friends section. There was a lot of like really monumental tricks in that video.
Yeah, and like Jake's part, like "Where Is My Mind," the Pixies.
Yeah.
Like to me, like
It's
songs
legendary.
really do it for me for the video part. Like stuff like that. Like it's like I don't know. I'm a sucker for kind of like. Is it sad, the Pixies?
No, but it's
No.
moody. It's got a vibe
Yeah,
to
you
it.
know, kind of
what I mean?
moody. Like, yeah.
There's something about sad songs. I don't know why, but it does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I do.
I really like when the song just matches the rider's riding and personality, and being able to be an editor who can match a feel of a song to an individual, but you also need the lifestyles and the personality to match that. So it's like there's a big wheel there that's hard to put together, and when a filmer like Justin Meyer can do that, like whether it was like Jake O.E. or Justin Benny, he was able to like put a feel around those riders.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I grew up during like the iTunes phase when like you would pay like $9.99 for videos. And I would like Videograss Keep the Change were videos that like it was a must buy no matter what. Like those were the ones you buy.
Keep the Change was banging too. Who in the Keep the Change crew were you like super hyped on? Because they would have been that much older than you or the same age. And those videos were like, I remember Matt Belzil got me into those videos. Yeah. The second one came out and he was like, dude, you're sleeping on this crew.
Well,
Keep the Change is the sickest thing out.
Yeah. What really did it for me, I think we were on a trip to Kamloops and Tommy G was there, Derek, and K2TM, what's his name?
Mark Wilson.
Sorry, Mark Wilson was there with Colton. So those 4 dudes, like I met, and then I'm like, wow, they're so sick, so nice. So that was like kind of how I got into them in a way.
Did you get to like hit a spot with them, or you guys just like kind of ran into each other at like a Tim Hortons?
Yeah, like ran into each other at a Tim Hortons. Yeah, exactly. And then they invited us over. I remember to their like sketchy motel, and in one of their rooms, they had like a Playboy magazine. They took out like pictures of naked chicks, but like all over their room.
Only cooler.
Yeah.
You're like, how could they get cooler?
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, and then like also like the dope videos, knowing that they're Canadian and like they're on, they live in Whistler, like where I wanted to move to. So like that was a huge inspiration to me.
Maybe touch on some of the dope riders that had an effect on your riding.
It was like, I feel like they had the 3 core riders of like Lane, E-Man, Stathis. And each dope video, it would change, like they would switch who had opener, who had ender from dope 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Those ones were insane. And a good mix, if we'll touch, I have like a whole segment on tricks and like kind of trench talk and stuff, and we'll do that later. But like that trio that you just brought up there, Stathis, Lane, E-Man, not only could they do like dope 50-50s and board slides, which everyone's doing right now, their bag of tricks were like tricks.
Yeah.
Like switchback 5-0, switchback lip, like just the most realist, like switch lip to switch. Like everything they were doing in my eyes has stood the test of time and will remain timeless. I heard Ben Bullock touching on this on his bomb hole about like how there's riders that went absolutely ham all over the world, but nobody is replaying that footage. Nobody is talking about it today. But Ben's switch tail press that he did on that kink is just something that people will talk about forever.
Totally.
Burned into my brain. Absolutely.
Yeah, those guys totally aren't doing like the 50-50 board slide trend, that's going on now. And, that's me.
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Hell, dude.
No.
Dude, you have one of the... it's funny that you mentioned Jake Kuzik was one of your favorite snowboarders, because when I look at you, one trick specifically really stands out in your riding to me, and I think you have one of the best ones in the game. But like your back lips are just every time you have one, it is absolutely like perfect. If the whole Deja Vu crew was a panel and they were watching your back lips, they'd be like, that was proper 10 out of 10, 100%. Like right in the middle.
Middle of the binding. Yeah, like not on the foot. Like it's
Thank
it's
you.
really nice.
Yeah, thank you. That's
As well as you did a gap back tail to regs in Vancouver.
Oh yeah, in Port Coquitlam.
Dude, that clip. I was watching it last night again. I was like,
Thank
oh
you.
my god.
Yeah. I don't know. That one's always just kind of like worked for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like the way I do it's more like I can't really get it on the front foot. I'm kind of more on like the back tail side of things, like hopping more at the back foot.
I think that's dope.
Just how I do it naturally. I don't like try and do it that way. That's just the way that worked for me.
Yeah.
There's something about a back lip that if you do it on, you get on more of the front foot. If you come off the middle of the rail, I'm hyped on it. If you come off, so let's say if you're regular and you come up and you do a back lip and you're more on the front foot, you can either come off the very end or the right side, and I like it. But if you do the back lip and you're more on the nose and you come off the left side, it just doesn't. It
looks like you're falling off.
Looks like you're falling off. I don't know. That's just me picking apart things. You didn't mention Deja Vu. Were they? Like your big.
Yeah. Okay.
Were they a part of your?
That was kind of like early on growing up. Videograss, Dope, Lost Boys, P-Chat.
Good shoutouts, by the way. Good, well-rounded. From the local to the top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably how it worked. It was kind of like what was relatable, what was close.
Yeah.
Who was like who you could reach and talk to, and then it just kind of worked your way up. Yeah.
And now, like there's so many good videos and crews, but like Deja Vu, Encore, that's a great video. Beacon.
Well, the first Deja Vu was incredible. The second one I liked more. I also thought it was amazing.
Like one of my sorry.
No.
One
Continue.
of my favorite parts is Louis's encore part. And again, it's with the song that really does it for me. The Dinosaur Jr. Said the People. Like kind of emotional. And obviously his riding, can't beat that, right? Yeah, I love that.
The Deja Vu movies were pretty wild too, because Will opened both of them and Lewis ended both of them.
Word.
And they're like, you just see, like, not that the other riders didn't put that effort in, but Will and Lewis, the way they would grind out, there was something special about those two. It looked like they were willing to put more work into anything. And I thought maybe this could be an interesting topic or segue into talking. We'll dive more into Mount Mountain specifically, but I feel like Bandwagon, aka Deja Vu, depending on your era, how you want to articulate that crew, puts out 2 videos that were 2 years apart. 2 of the best rail riding videos almost to date, arguably. Yep. Mount Mountain's the same kind of thing. Crew, a big gap in between the 2 films, but are 2 of the best rail videos as of late to come out of Canada. And both of those groups, when they came out with those videos, instead of those riders getting brought up more on their sponsors, most of them like lost sponsors.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at like the last Mount movie that came out, it seems like instead of all those riders getting lifted up, like Torment recognized that video Coulter just put out and put it as one of the best short films, or one of the best films of the year.
Full length.
Full length. Yeah.
Full length, which is like people are noticing.
Yeah.
But like there's no real reward for that. And you see like the work that like Ben and Will and Phil put into those movies, and Greg, etc.
Yeah.
And then like most of them get let go or get like less opportunity after so much hard work. And I kind of feel like there's almost like a match between those films with, like, you know, you film your best shit, but then nothing happens.
And yeah, I think it goes to say with like, it's like, I'm not good at it, but it's also not just about like what you put out there, but also like the relationships you make, the connections you make, you know, like Marty talks about a lot, but like playing chess, you know, isn't that part of it? Maybe that's why. I don't know.
It is a big chess game.
It's a big,
you know?
weird chess game.
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
like
bad
the
at
chess game? And do you feel like there's pros and cons to it, or like what's your opinion on it? The industry.
Like, I think I'm not good at playing chess, but it's just like who I am, you know? I wish maybe I was good at it, but I'm just like not.
I think you should stay the way you are.
Yeah,
I think
no,
everyone loves
yeah,
you
I like
exactly
it.
the way you are.
Yeah, which I am. But,
like if there's somebody that's a young, hungry version of maybe yourself, and you can see a little bit of them in yourself, what advice would you give to them to help them elevate the riding maybe younger on? Do you have any advice in this new complex chess game world?
Yeah, good question. I'm not the best person to ask, obviously.
Maybe between you and Marty, like a hybrid question.
Yeah, not many stickers on my board, as you can see here.
I'd say, I mean, getting really, honestly, like you said, like you can put in all the work in the world into your video part, and sometimes it doesn't work out. But you definitely need to, like Nick had mentioned, kind of going out of your comfort zone and going to the United States, going to the places, the events that people are at, meet them, have a beer with them or not, and just honestly, it is the relationships that you make that can push you forward. As much as the best memories that I've ever had was with these guys, Mount Mountain, and I mean we're the closest we could possibly be as friends because of those situations. But yeah, if your dream is to move forward from your I guess your small group of friends, you do have to put yourself into an uncomfortable space and go to these events and try to really play the game of chess, I guess.
Yeah, if that's what you want to do, like have fun doing it.
That's the
but
thing,
I
if you
mean, if
want
like
to.
don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, if it's what you want, it's
Yeah,
really
like-
that's the choice. It's kind of a choice you make, whether you want to just have fun, be with your friends, do the damn thing, and work hard, and be happy with what comes out of that, or if you really, really want to put in that work, then put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, like whether you want to take a shot at being a professional snowboarder and do it knowing all the baggage that comes with being a professional snowboarder, or if you want to just do it for fun and still have somebody like myself or Jake Kuzik or whatever realize that your backlip is amazing, and that props and that appreciation from Torment or whoever is enough, and you're not looking for any more than just that. You just like and you need to juggle as somebody who's coming up in this really technical landscape of like which lane you want to push into, because they both come with their pros and cons.
Yeah.
But to further elaborate on Deja Vu specifically, like that crew to me really did do a good job of going to the States. They would do 1 month at the beginning of each year, and they would go to Brighton, and they would ride there with all the other homies and be fully immersed in the American scene. They were heavily branded with Snowboarder Mag because of Ollie G. They would go to Super Park. They would go in they were all in X Games. Like they were like doing it, but it just couldn't seem like they couldn't like Will Levine's parts. Like he does a front 180 off the toes to switch tail press. Like none of his shit's crooked. It's so buck. He's good at backcountry. I mean, there's also like another version of Will, which I like to think is like the more smooth style, which is like Alex Cantan. You know what I mean? Like I was always blown away that like Alex never got like more shine, because he was such a good hybrid in a time where people really started leaning into just being a rail rider, just being a backcountry, just being a contest rider. And then you have people like Alex who is just like doing it all, or Will. And it's like, it was frustrating for me because I was like, I'm a Canadian too, and I'm doing the same thing. And like, I felt like it's so hard to pierce that ceiling. But before we were recording, Marty brought up something interesting that like back in the 90s and early 2000s, it was about having a well-rounded team globally. And that's not just all from Salt Lake, even if that is where the industry is from. I think that there is. Do you think that making a well-rounded team around the whole world has a better impact than just having a team that's just from one specific area?
Well, yeah, I think, spread your chips across the board for sure, internationally, whatever. But isn't it like the Canadian market is within the US market, right?
They're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I think anyway. Like they pretend they're different, but the North American market to me is the North American market.
Yeah, Europe has its own market. Japan has its own market. Canada and the States are just
like I went to Salt Lake City once,
you played the game.
I made it with Schubert. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is a factor of luck in the whole situation. I mean, there's so many different aspects that puts you in a position where you're gonna actually get paid as a snowboarder, and as well as like it's the difference between whether you want to. It's either fun or it's a business in some ways. Like there is that aspect of it being. These companies are going to pay you money. It is a business. You have to put it in a different kind of box at some point. And if you don't want to do that, then hell yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, I think I never really fully like went down that avenue that you kind of did with going to the States.
Tried. Trying, I guess.
Yeah. But that never kind of felt like it was for me. I felt like at that time, that point of the season was like, okay, I got to start work, April's rolling around, like wrap it up here, which I kind of had other priorities. Yeah. I've always felt like I'll need like a 9-to-5 job. I've never really tried to escape that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of Canadians do, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like for the vast majority of them, it's just like the 9-to-5, especially all summer and fall and spring is like just part of, and you're just, if you take it as more like, really like filming with my group of friends and I'm not really looking for more than just that. I think a lot of people are happy just filming in the mountains or in the streets with their friends regardless of the paycheck.
Yeah.
More than people realize, I think there's lots of people out there that still film and they don't give a fuck about making any bankroll from snowboarding or even getting a sponsor. They're just like, I just like doing this. And kudos to them.
Which is badass.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I think that like another big thing is luck. And it's just like, you're at the right place at the right time and you're hanging out with the team manager and for whatever reason, you two just jive and you're on the same frequency and he has a spot on the team that day and you guys just click. Sometimes the new team manager is going to get hired and you guys are not going to share the same vision. You're not going to be on the same frequency and you're not going to bump into them at the bar and it just never happens.
Yeah.
And just realizing that if it does or doesn't happen, I don't think that the people that are professional snowboarders versus the people that never took a shot at it or never became professional snowboarders, one isn't necessarily happier than the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I find that when you're putting out a fire and you get back on the heli and you know that you just saved a whole town from burning down, there's a huge sense of pride in that work that probably beats going down to Mount Hood and learning a back 270 to switch. You know what I mean? Kinda.
But also growing up, I always thought it was so sick if you can get like any sort of money from snowboarding. That was like, to me, really cool. I know like money, it's kind of sounds dumb, like money's whatever, it's stupid, but being able to get paid to snowboard was like, whoa, like even if it's like $1,000, 2,000, you're like
a little something.
So stoked. Yeah, and like even the being sponsored was always like, you know, that's a dream.
I think that's a really good and a healthy way to look at it. Just like, thanks for the opportunity, thanks for the boards, thanks for the couple bucks. You know, obviously I would like to get paid more, you know what I mean? And I think that everybody who films a video part, that, man, if your video is getting nominated by one of the most credible sources in media right now, Torment, as one of the best videos, and you have one of the best parts in that, and you're getting $2,000, it's just a little bit like, why can't my sponsor see that I have value? Like, and I don't know. That's kind of up to, well, hopefully conversations like this help change that a bit, because I think there's this fictitious number that our Instagram has that brands just associate to a dollar value now. And I really think that that's still a poor way of looking at it. Like riders who don't necessarily have a huge following, but are still active and they film good shit, still have a lot of value.
Yeah.
More value than I think people realize.
The one thing that I remember acknowledging and understanding from Nick's perspective at a young age was that he was very much in the mindset of like, if it happens, it happens. If I get sponsored, I get sponsored. I'm not necessarily going to go out super out of my way and get like to this point of like emailing, blah, blah, blah. He was very much just like, if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if I was wrong or not, but I feel like you were kind of just like, I'm going to do my thing. If it works out, that's great. And otherwise, I'm still going to do my thing, which is, I was very admirable, that whole process and the way you thought about those things.
But it's kind of, you know, coming to a point now where you kind of need to make these plans of like, what are you going to do this winter? You know, you need deliverables.
Yeah.
You know, you need a proposal, a project.
Yeah. For sure.
And if you're not, like, it's a lot harder to get money, you know?
Yeah.
Like every penny is accounted for these days.
I just feel like you're always kind of just,
from what I've heard,
doing what you wanted to do, and whether it worked out or not, it didn't, like, you weren't stressing about it, and I admired that.
Sometimes it really pans out for those riders, I think, though. Like the ones that like truly were just doing it because they love snowboarding.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I hope brands just go like, man, this guy is so about it. Like this should be, this person should be involved in our community at a higher level or be on our team. Like I get that maybe 10 of your riders on your team need to be out there winning contests and, you know, posting on social media. But maybe have a little bit of budget aside for people that don't necessarily thrive in those environments. Because by lifting up those people that still absolutely kill it, but don't necessarily just thrive on social media, there is a core aspect that comes along with your brand. I think Ride, if anybody, like that alignment for you works really well. Maybe we can steer back a little bit and talk on your first sponsor, Dino, before you got on Ride, and what your relationship was with Dino and how you got on them, and just how you guys ended up kind of parting ways.
Yeah, I think so. I got on Dinos, I think 2015 or 2016. I was riding Glacier Public Park, and Matt Heenahan was up there. He saw me just riding, and then he kind of came up to me and he's like, yo, what's up? Like, who are you?
Who
what
the
is your
hell are
name?
you?
Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
And I was just riding, I don't know, like whatever board I could get a hold of. And he literally pulled out a screwdriver, took off his bindings, and handed me like a snowboard on hill.
I didn't know this.
Like, I'm pretty sure his day was just over. He just had to download.
Nice.
Like, he just gave me, it was like a, Dino Geno board. And I, like, how sick is that? Shout out Heenahan. Like, that's so fucking sick. Like giving, you know, like it's like the jacket off your back to a, you know, a kid that's cold.
Like, here's my jersey.
Yeah,
that's
signed it.
That's
like,
sick. That's
and then
super sick.
and then he like got me in touch with Jeff Keenan, Geno, and I started getting boards from them.
Man, that is one of the coolest stories ever.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously the hugest Matt Heenahan fan ever. There's another person who just loves snowboarding. You know what I mean? And snowboarding doesn't even know how grateful we should be. Like the amount of people that Matt Heenahan has inspired over the years to like fall in love with snowboarding as much as he loves it. it isn't trackable. You know what I mean? Like him being up at Seymour, and like if he did that to you, how many little things he's done that nobody's ever seen, that no one's ever gonna talk about. Like, what a G. Like, here's my board. I'm a download.
Yeah.
What a legend. Yeah. This kid is so sick. I'm going to give him my board.
That's insane.
I'm not going to do any more back 180 switch nose presses. And I'm going to just go off the hill. Like, that is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a few of those types of people in this area. I mean, even like you said, ECS, Evan putting on those events, like, a lot of riders in this area are very much that same way. Like they didn't necessarily get that shine, but they're still here and they're still like giving back to that community, which is insane. And thank you to all those people for sure.
Similar to like the firefighters and paramedics and stuff like that. Like those are the real ones that actually have a big impact on the community. Obviously not in the same realm as being a firefighter, police officer, or whatever. Like very different, but it's about the community.
And I think we can still thank them for their service.
Totally.
You know?
And the ECS, he's been doing it for 12 years. How much money has he made off that? Zero. It's just zero.
Absolutely.
It's just and
Ben building the thing, the quarter pipe, like that's a lot of work. He's also one of those guys. Like, yeah, very.
You know, they're out there because they love it.
Yeah.
And so, how did you transition onto ride then?
So I was on dynos for I don't know, 4 years or so, 3 years. And then I remember I was on a trip with you, Jody. We were in Salmon Arm. And you were like, yo, like Ride Canada's looking for a new kid or new guy. You know, I'm like 24 at the time. And I was down because I kind of knew that it was an opportunity where I could get maybe a little bit of budget to help fund these trips. And like I said earlier, for some reason, like getting paid to snowboard was like, I thought really cool. It still is cool. So I wanted to switch it up and try like a different avenue in a way. Like it's totally like staying on dynos or going to ride is kind of like a whole different, you know, path to follow, I think, which it was. And, you know, I'm, happy with the decision I made. Whether it was the right one or not, who knows? No one will ever know. But I'm, I love both brands still. Like Dino's treated me like a family for sure, which I do kind of miss that side of things, you know, having it's like some real close family, you know, going on trips to Holy Bowly and whatnot.
So transitioning from something like Dino, which is like family, an amazing company, but to me, and what I'm just from knowing you, I feel like you were trying to really put your foot on the gas and take a shot at trying to get some budget to take your riding maybe to the next phase, to elevate your riding, to get some opportunity to be in a project, etc. Like all your favorites before, Kuzik, whoever, Jed. Yeah. You get this opportunity with Ride, which is huge. Like Ride's a huge company, and if they're gonna pay you, I'm imagining, were you pretty stoked to kind of line that up and be a part of that program?
Yeah, like absolutely. Knowing that Ride has like a really sick team, I was super down to get some ride boards, and along with that, like a little bit of travel budget, you know, which is not easy to get these days. So I was lucky enough for the past, 6 years to get a little help to film some video parts, go on trips. Yeah, it's a good ride.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Hell yeah, Nick.
I actually remember the day that you got on the phone with, I forget.
Taylor, probably.
Taylor, yeah.
Shout out Taylor.
Yeah.
Ricci.
Shout out Taylor Ricci.
You got on that phone call. We were at a spot. I think we were in Trail, BC, and it was definitely it wasn't easy for you. You weren't sure where to go, what to do. And I remember you thinking Dinos was truly a family. It is a family. And I remember you very much being kind of conflicted with that decision. But yeah. I think in all, it was
a hard decision. Yeah. It's like a difficult phone call to have, which, so many people have done it, having to call their old TM, let them know the news, but they didn't really care. They were stoked.
Yeah. And
they said you'll always be family and whatnot.
I mean, like you said, you were in that Dino's house the next month or so or whatever. And even myself, like I was on Capita and whatever, and they've always welcomed me with open arms. Like earlier you said that there's these people that didn't necessarily like blow the hell up, but I feel like Dino's is that kind of same aspect where it's just like, it's this core company that loves snowboarding, that just wants people to be around and to enjoy that process. And it's not necessarily about like, oh, are you on this team? Or you whatever? And I think it's a very admirable thing from a brand perspective. I think it's one of the coolest brands
For sure.
out right now, for sure.
Well, I think that like for someone like Nick, you're looking for the underlying thing is you're looking for opportunity.
Yeah.
And these conversations I feel like are so difficult, especially for boarders. Like you film with a crew, whether it's the SRD crew and you got like Finn and JJ getting taken on to Snowboarder Mag, or you're, filming with Bandwagon or Deja Vu, and some of those riders getting over to VG, but not everybody. Marty filming with Mount Mountain, but getting an opportunity to be in Brown or whatever. Like, it doesn't happen for everybody. That same, to draw a comparison there, you going from Dino to Ride is the same exact thing. It's like you're going from a family, close-knit group of friends, but eventually some of those riders are going to search out more opportunity because that they want to see where it can go, wherever.
And that's exactly my mentality at the time. And yeah, that's what I wanted to. I was curious with the unknown, what it could bring me.
Love that.
It's a good analogy.
That was well.
Yeah. And yeah, it's sick. Like I'm, get like, like Dinos is a small company. You get like a couple boards a year. I don't know what it is, but like, with Ride, it's like a lot easier to get product, as well as like I'm getting bindings from them.
Yeah, I think that's a great analogy in that sense. What you were saying is that it is essentially group of friends, and you're like trying to you don't want to make that decision, but you're like, shoot, I really want to make something maybe happen. And it, I don't know, like you said earlier, it could be a bad decision, could be a great decision. It really just depends on what you want.
Let's hop on that wave and ride it out, see what happens.
Yeah, like you said earlier, there's no wrong decision in what you were. There's just like you were jumping into the unknown. Yeah. You made a decision and you live with it. It was like Jack McDougall being on the last podcast or 2 episodes ago. He had to have a difficult conversation with Brockle, who started with his blood, sweat, and tears dope. And to have somebody that he helped bring up and shed so much spotlight on go over to forum, that's not an easy conversation for him to have. Brockle doesn't really want to hear it either. Geno isn't going to be like ecstatic that you're leaving because you're amazing. Of course he's going to want you to stay on Dino. But you as an individual needs to navigate the seas of life for yourself and nobody else. Like,
I mean, those people get it. They understand and they're happy. Like, as much as obviously, like you said, like they don't want you to leave, but I think in the end they're happy to see you get what you want or deserve.
Yeah, spread my wings and flap it.
Yeah,
it's not
totally.
It's not. People change brands all the time. It's not that big of a deal.
No. Totally. It's actually like not a big deal at all. Like, I mean, if you're still on here, you're not talking poorly on both. It's just you wanted some opportunity. You got it with Ride. We hope that Ride continues to give you support, especially more in the futures, because as somebody who's been riding with you, you're a little bit of an ATV now. And I think that if brands could reflect on how snowboard companies were born before on like the personality aspect, like Ride's tripping for not like bringing you on a bit more. I think just like the way that they film and edit things. Does Jake Durham make a lot of their stuff still?
Yes, I think he's their staff videographer.
He's incredible. And what he does, similar to Joe Carolino or Justin Meyer or Brockle, or like that gift of filmmaking, Hayden Wrench. These filmmakers can bring to life the individual, and I think that they're like Coulter has done such a good job. But now that Coulter's maybe moving on or whatever, somebody else needs to be like this character, this human who's an amazing human, an amazing snowboarder, but also like I think about the clip that you did the back 5-0 to ollie. Backside tail press, and then you just ollie like 100 feet to like nowhere.
Down
like the amount of
Pemberton
personality that clip has is like, you're a fool to everybody. Pay Nick and Marty.
And like I was super fortunate to have Coulter like go on trips, film with us, and not for free essentially. And now that he
pretty much
whether or not he like sat on footage for 4+ years or whatever it was, like he was doing the shit for free.
Well, I think he was. I mean, I think he had a certain standard that he was trying to reach, as well as for himself more than anyone else, that he wanted to be proud of this thing that he puts out.
Yeah.
And in the end, I think that it really did turn into this video that we can all look back to as more of like a memory and like this like happy feeling.
And like, yeah, so then moving forward this year, it was difficult to, find someone who wants to film for free.
Yeah.
Right?
Rightfully so.
I get a little bit of budget, but then, to pay for a filmer, like a day rate or whatever, and then for their flight, their food to go to Halifax or wherever, it's like, shit, I can't afford that. Like,
And rightfully so. These people really, they shouldn't be doing it for free, because who benefits at the end of the day from Coulter going out and grinding and putting a video together? Obviously, there's a lot of self-fulfillment Coulter gets off that, because he loves the process and he loves the art piece that he's putting out, and he's filming his best friends. But at the end of the day, who's actually making money from that? All the companies that have their new boards there.
Yeah.
And so when I look at like Coulter's approach, although in one hand, I think devastating for the riders who need to have footage come out every year, so they have more opportunity with brands. And so brands are like, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because we need our product to come out every year. And when you hold footage for 3, 4, 2 years, whatever it is, doesn't help the rider at that exact time. But when Coulter's doing it for free and I watch his films, I look at them more like art pieces.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you can't rush. Like, this sounds so cheesy, but like, if somebody's doing art for free in their basement, you don't go, hurry up and finish that art piece. It's like, hey, I'm doing this pro bono. This is kind of like my passion project. I'm going to put it out when I want to. And Coulter being like a hyper perfectionist, and he's all attention to detail, similar to Brockle, who I'm imagining gets crazy anxiety before he puts something out, because he wants like people like Tommy Gesme in that community to like his films, or Cass Lemons or whatever, to like, I fuck with this film. And sometimes you can't just rush that. And I think all Coulter's films that he's put out will remain timeless, and there's something to be proud about just for that.
Yeah. And I never once like put pressure on him for like getting that footage out. I knew he like didn't like talking about it maybe, and I didn't think it was worth like ruining our friendship to have this footage come out.
Yeah.
So I never really said much about it, but I know like Adam Franks was maybe on it a bit more with him, giving him some shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was
same with
stressing
you,
a little
Marty,
bit too, but I think it comes back to that like the heart versus business thing. I think it's more of like he was doing it for the soul, like his soul and ours, whatever. Like he was really just doing it because he fucking loved it, not necessarily because he was looking at like the brand's perspective and how they would maybe make money, or how wherever we'd go with the process. I think he was just doing it because he truly loved it and he wanted to make a good product.
And he was doing it because he wanted to be with his friends. That's why, he's not doing it now for money. Like he doesn't want to go out there with not his friends.
Yeah. But I mean, we should get him on the podcast.
Yeah,
maybe get.
We should see if he actually wants to film next year too.
Yeah. I mean, he's on the island now. We'll see, but I think he's really
couple
happy
more loops
where he's at, or
but
where
like,
he's right now.
Yeah, with filmers like Dino, like has been filming me a bunch this past season. Like shout out to him.
Big shout outs.
Big shout out to Derek. Another front lip, but this one's to Fakey.
Surprise. Yeah. So maybe quickly touch on, like Derek breaks his back, gets heavily injured, lacerates his stomach or whatever, and now he's on the sidelines. He's benched, and he picks up the camera. Yeah. But I think Derek is different than Coulter, where Coulter was just doing it with his homies, because you guys all grew up together. Where like Derek's down to do it, but he does want to get paid something. And I think that there's something for all of snowboarders right now to take a little bit of a stand, because we're not a union, which we should almost become. Unionize all snowboarding, so there's like a rate, because when everyone starts doing it for free and these companies are just getting what they want, but they're not paying anybody, they think they can get away with it. And to bring it back again to what Ben Bullock was saying on the bomb hole, which I really liked some of the things he was saying. Some of it I was like, not for me, but most of it I really liked. And it's like, I think a lot of snowboarders and a lot of people that work in the action sports industry are being used from the team managers down. Like, I think like when you're a team manager and you've been there for so long and you've helped piece together an exceptional team that is moving the needle, and you're getting like a kind of a bullshit salary. It's like somebody above you is not making money. You know what I mean? They're making money. Like, go up the mountain right now and tell me that they're not selling more snowboards than ever. I get that cost of everything is up, but do you know whose cost is up? All of our costs. A snowboard trip used to be cheap to go on. Now gas is like going on a trip and be like, let's drive to Calgary. You're like, this isn't cheap anymore. Like, this is really expensive. Yeah. Like, and they need to sell snowboards.
Yeah. Like, and then you talk about like getting good footage plus getting a photographer out there on top of everything. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, Nick, where are your photos?
That was definitely, I feel like it was kind of a bit of a struggle for us at some point where we were trying to get the photos. Yeah. And I mean, there's only, like you said, there's only so many videographers and snowboarders or photographers in the area, and the people that you know that are willing to either do it for free and because they love it, or maybe there's a few out there that want some money out of it, and you're like, okay, like what's the budget?
I think being like, we were in our early 20s and it was a lot easier to like, let's just go here. Like, who cares about the money? And
we were having fun.
And now, like 30 now, and it's like,
oh shit.
Yeah, you need to like, where's the money?
Yeah, life hits hard pretty quick.
One thing that I think is interesting that just kind of popped into my mind is snowboarding is, to me, an art form, obviously. And a lot of these great, amazing artists have been pushed out due to not getting enough financial support. What would snowboarding look like if those individuals, instead of getting less over the years, got more? Like, you see like someone like Scott Surface, who's created some of the best images in snowboarding, exits because there's just no more money left. What if it was the opposite, and when it got expensive, it's like, no, we're going to keep him on, and you keep that whole wheel intact. So you keep all the people from day one, and like there's this mentorship, and like how special and cool would snowboarding look like if everybody who was a really core passionate snowboarder was still involved and never left. And it's like this huge family thing of just like everybody that's above you is getting a bit more money, but those people have paid their dues and they make an exceptional product. Like, I definitely, for the media side, I feel like that. Like, eventually these great filmmakers have to leave and go film, like, I don't know, Joe Carolino. You know, he makes that Transworld movie that I'm sure you used to watch a lot in color.
Mark Solers, or his in color part.
Keegan's part in that. It's like, and then, but they have to leave to make real money somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's like, I get that snowboarding is a small market and you can't be paying people millions or, you know, 500,000 or 200,000, but there's definitely budget out there to like make somebody have
a livable
life, and then they can work, dive their, you know, work somewhere else to make some more money somewhere else. It just sucks that like a lot of the people that are the best in our space move on because there's not a little bit of money, there's just no money.
You're either a top dog or you're bottom of the barrel.
Totally.
Like, if there was more of a middle ground is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's that 1%.
No, but I like where you took that, because we need a middle class.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
It just like, there is no middle class. There's your Mark McMorris's, then there's like for steel, which you're after, there's your like Cole Navins and Jed Andersons and stuff. And then like there's everybody else who's like, I was talking to some of those Dustbox kids, and it's like, you look at them like, damn, those kids are those guys aren't getting anything. Yeah. Like they're getting a very small amount for their impact that they've had, I think. And it sucks when you hear like some of those people just move on. You're like, oh, they're not filming anymore. They're not filming. And it's like, selfishly, because I like those people's riding so much and I want them to stay in snowboarding. So snowboarding remains this tasteful art piece where it's like, sometimes I look on social media and see it moving quicker and quicker into what I would say there's wakeboarding style and skate style, and it seems to sometimes look more like flippy dippy wakeboard style, which is like, you know, is that what you got to do to make a paycheck? Because it's gonna suck when people stop just doing back lips.
I mean, if I could, I'd love to be triple corking.
If I had it like that.
Okay, let's be honest here now. I'm just extremely jealous of everybody who's way more talented than me. And the whole point of this podcast is to make me feel better about my lackluster snowboarding.
I mean, to touch on that Dustbox thing, I mean, I think that even them, there's that like 1% where there's like the few that do break that mold out of whatever. I feel like there's almost always that kind of one or two people in the crew that kind of like figures it out. And then there's the homie. You still stay friends and whatnot, but yeah, I feel like it's definitely a 1% kind of thing.
That's a very good point. 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Now you got Mountain here. Where's the 1 or 2? Seriously,
Yeah,
like where's the 1 or 2? Like how? Like not this is the Nick podcast,
Yeah, no.
but like who are you riding for right now, Marty?
Right now, well,
Exactly.
I mean, no,
We're good. No, I'm just extracting out like a point out of that more than anything.
Yeah.
I know that you have sponsors that back you and support you. I'm just saying that there's like when to me, you two have like helped to really put that on the map, and that was a huge video for Canada. Like, and people really fucked with it, and it just sucks that like when I see that raw talent, and hopefully like podcasts like this bring a little bit of light to the importance of like people actually going and filming tasteful video parts before they're overlooked. All right, switching gears. All right, Nick. Let's go 3 clips that you're most proud of. They don't have to be like in an order or anything, but maybe 3 clips to you that you're stoked on, and a little bit of a story.
Okay, we can do that. One, obviously, the frontside 360, second peak Seymour. It was the last clip of clips to chill and relax to. That's one. That's up there. That's maybe the best clip I'll ever film. Hopefully not. Knock on wood.
I'd say it was majestic.
But like,
what made that clip stand out to you?
Okay, I just at the time it still is for riding powder, jumping, but like my batting average is extremely low. You know, so I've gone like we've in the Seymour backcountry like a week. I haven't like gone to anything.
Like what happens?
You know, like. I don't know, just fucking send it backdrop. You know, like this.
What's a backdrop for those that don't know?
Just landing on your back in the landing. I guess a bomb hole, but like, you know, you don't put it to your feet, just straight to your back. Backdrop.
I feel like that
Dimo's got a good backdrop.
That year at Seymour was very memorable.
Yeah. Okay, good snow year. Yeah. We're on like one of the last days of filming. It's March 9th, 2020, pre-COVID. COVID kind of like just kind of got on the radar. Nothing in lockdown, whatever. So that's how long ago it was, and it just came out.
Yeah.
But I remember standing up on the lip. You went first. You tried back 3, didn't land it. It's like sun is going down. It's golden hour, debatably like fading from golden hour. I remember being up there shaking in my boots, and Coulter's like, "Drop now!" And I'm like, "Okay, fuck it."
Light's
like,
good.
Yeah. And it's like kind of just like a step down. There's a landing down there, but
somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I still remember like being in the air, like the 360 comes around, and I remember having the feeling of having to like poke my front foot out and my tail down to kind of stop the rotation. And then I landed somehow. Like I said, my batting average was low. I thought like as I'm riding away, I thought like no, like something went wrong. There's no way I landed that. And I'm like just down in this gully. I'm pretty sure like, I got a couple tears. I'm like, there's no way.
Dude,
like,
you rode that thing out so
like,
far. You were living the whole experience. It was nice. It was a good day.
Yeah, that's a highlight.
That's special. So the tears were from just how excited you were for landing, or was there like
just tears of joy, really? Like I'm a sucker for sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just kind of being down there on my own, hiking back up, like just so happy.
It was a good moment. It was a good moment.
That's a wicked clip.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice story to go with that one too. All right, number 2.
This 50-50 in Kelowna I did a long time ago. But there's like 2 fences on either side, front 50, like a down flat, down flat, down flat, down.
Oh, I know what you're talking
like
about.
riding a Dino board at the time.
With the spaces in it?
Yeah, the spaces in it.
You can't fuck up. It was kind of one of those spots where it was do or die.
Yeah, I just like the way I did it. Did really good.
Yeah.
It felt good.
Let's touch on that. Like, you know, you gave a little background story with the, you know, Coulter yelling at you and the sunset. What was going on this 50-50?
I think it was one of the first clips I filmed that year, and it ended up being like my last clip. And I feel like that's maybe a common trend with people filming their like ender right away. But like at the time, it was like I didn't really have any cares. Just like I don't know, like it's 50 this kink, like no consequences.
You've had a couple really wild 50-50s. I mean, the one, this doesn't necessarily, because you already said a 50-50, I'll just say another 50-50 that you did that was really sick, because for your third trick, you can't use this one because you can't say two 50-50s. Could piss off somebody like E-Man, and then, that would be bad. The 50-50 that you do in Vancouver, ECS photo through the pylon. That photo that kink was banging. I was hitting that with you.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, jumped on it a couple times. I was like, dude, this thing is wild. Like, no, like I'm out. Yeah. That old bent, jaggedy piece of steel. I'll put that one in the YouTube video as well.
What's your third?
Third, I'll go with Whistler Creekside. I was filming a Stairmaster contest, 2017.
This one was good.
I remember being like so hungry. I was in this Stairmaster thing, like, I will die for this. Like,
so Stairmasters, to people that don't know, is basically the X Games real snow of like Canada at the time, for sure.
Canadians.
It's like an
actually, there's Americans in it too.
Yeah,
it's like an AM version of the X Games.
Just kind of like not knowing what we're doing. Let's just drive around Whistler. You know how it is to hit street in Whistler. Like it's far and few between. And then I remember we were just like looking at the down ledge. It's like this big fat down ledge, pretty short. I think Jeff Keenan hit it back in the day. But then I remember looking at it, I'm like, whoa, you can kind of like elbow through it, like thread the needle through a post and a tree. So I went like board slide, hop, lip slide, I guess, to fakie.
Yeah, it's insane because it's like elbowed and you have to like, so the down part at the end of the first down concrete ledge, there's just a massive big piece of wood pillar. And then you hop to the elbow of the other concrete down ledge. And then you ride onto if anybody's ever been up the Creekside gondola, you probably walk past this every day. It's absolutely insane.
To be clear, I feel like no one else would have seen that and be like, that's doable.
Yeah, shout outs Coulter Hurd and Alex Beal for both being filmsmen.
Yeah. Can I plug one of my favorite clips of you?
Yeah, yes, plug one.
Marty, go.
I believe it was a front one switchtail press back one on Donald A. Wilson.
Oh yeah,
that I don't know. Cab one. Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was cab
the Sub-City Ender.
No, it was Beyond Compare.
Yeah, I don't know why exactly that sticks out so much in my brain, but I think it was just done so well, and it was a good day, and I remember being ecstatic that you got it.
And I had to battle for it. Yeah, something when you battle and then finally landing it, the film, relief.
The clip itself high was just perfectly filmed. I don't know. I really
thank you.
Enjoyed that clip. Or the back lip in Kamloops.
Yeah,
that one
on the White King.
Into the road.
I did that years ago.
Yeah. That's my best street backflip.
Yeah,
that's one of the best. That's one of the best street backlips.
Wow, that's quite the claim, but yeah.
Period.
Oh hell yeah!
Let's like backlip street rail. The worst part about that spot in particular is that you land on a road, and the road is like this long arching convexity. So traffic control on that spot, I've hit it before, is just a nightmare.
Yeah. Wait, was there anyone on traffic control?
I think we had like radios, like really shitty walkie-talkies. Like, yeah, I think you're good.
I think.
Yeah. Oh no.
Pretty loose program.
Yeah, that's one thing for any young kids that are listening to this and they're getting new into the streets, is that you want to watch the landing.
Yeah, definitely get a homie out there that you trust.
You're also very known for touching some pretty buck kink rails. I mean, that one that you do, I think in Vancouver, back 50-50, ender of Sub-City?
Rendezvous.
That kink is absolutely mind melting. But you've hit a lot of big buck. You have a board slide on like a drop.
There's also back 50 in Oshawa. That thing.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin.
Yeah.
That thing was.
Lane also did that.
Yep. Yeah. Front 50, right?
Like, I'll be honest. I feel like I'm one of those riders that maybe I already talked about this today, but 50 and board slide a lot of spots. And like, I'll be honest, because like anything else is really fucking scary. Like,
I mean, you hit buck spots, so it's kind of like that.
But like, then I'm like, people get like all bummed out about it, but like, should I not do it then? Just not even hit the spot if it's only gonna be a 50.
You have a well-rounded video part. Like, there's so many, like the ender in Sub-City, which I thought Marty was speaking on earlier, but he wasn't. The half cab tail press back 180. It's like, you do tricks.
Yeah, I know, but just be my own devil's advocate.
Yeah. But like, maybe speak to, you're on the top of a drop-in, you're about to hit a buck gnarly kink, you prep the takeoff. What's rolling through your head when you're about to hit a gnarly kink? How do you like to like test the waters if it's a pretty buck spot?
Like I'll definitely like pussyfoot, if you will. Like just like hop over it, like not fully commit for a bit, you know, just like get the base on the steel, like, and I'll also make like a foam pad in the landing sometimes. Just get a scoop shovel and just like
Get yourself
this is
comfortable.
where my maybe impact zone is gonna be. Just put like 100 scoops there. Like,
I feel like it
foam
depends
pit.
though. Sometimes you kind of just
Yeah,
raw
yeah.
dog it and you're like,
Sometimes
yeah.
I'm like, fuck it, let's just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
this over
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Which is silly. Like definitely get hurt sometimes.
Yeah.
the two part to that question, but what goes through your head when you're on the drop? And do you have like the Reynolds thing? Do you like smash on something 3 times? Do you tell yourself like I'm a beast, or like, you know, like what goes through the skull of Nick?
Okay, I remember when I went to Camp of Champs. You were my coach. You don't remember, but head coach was ATN Gilbert, I think.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember he had this like inspirational quote. It was like, "If the instinct is stronger than the fear, it's time to send it."
I remember this.
One more time from the top.
If the instinct is stronger than the fear, it's time to send it.
Etienne Gilbert, dude,
Yeah.
he is a legend too. That is so sick.
Sidebar, I remember when I went to Camp of Champs, like finally my parents like paid my way to go. I was hoping my coach was gonna be like Sean White or like JP Walker. And then like, Nick, you're with Jody Wozniak, and I was so bummed. I'm like, who is that? Like why am I here?
Okay,
But it turns out that was like
Yeah,
honestly
meant to
best
be.
possible
Yeah,
coach
meant to be.
in the world.
was it actually?
I'm not
like-
even just pumping your tires up. Like,
Was it actually like fun for you?
yeah, like the best week of my life.
Take me through, because I don't remember this. I coached so many kids during the span of my coaching stint, but touch on like why it was sick, like your experience at camp. What was I like? You know,
I think you just made me really feel like comfortable in my own boots. Like you really like had my back and was like, yo, that's sick. Like whatever, like, yeah, board slide between the bindings, like so sick. What? Even though you're maybe more of like a blunt slide guy, you were just like such good vibes. Like you're here for it. You're still here for it.
yeah, it has not changed.
And I remember you gave me a red and black West Beach flannel. I was so hyped on.
I remember those flannels. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did one batch, and I wanted them to make it bigger, just for that '90s like style. Like, oh, I want to look like, I don't know, John Cardiel and have like a baggy flannel. But they made them because that was the time where West Beach got really into like the tailored fits, because they were trying to do a bite on like Holden, and so everything was like tall and skinny.
And I remember you saying like, I was just fully like, you know, like rad rails. And you were like, no, it's about like 60-40, like 60 pow, 40 rails. That kind of had my wheels turning. I'm like, oh, like that. You think that's cool? Like, I think that's cool now.
I feel like that's kind of what you do now. Like,
Try to.
you bought a snowmobile.
I actually just spring checked 2025.
No way.
Oh,
850, 164.
No way.
I
skidoo,
called Al
baby.
Bush. He's like, you mean you want the adrenaline? I'm like, I don't think so. But he's like, oh no, if that's you want the adrenaline. I'm like, okay. Just like gave him my credit card over the phone. I haven't even been in there to talk to him about it yet. Like, I'm not sure the perks I get. Like,
What's the perks?
Probably get. I wonder if you get a 3-year warranty on that one. Is
Yeah.
it 2 or 3?
I don't know, but I feel like if I'm gonna continue living in the sea to sky, like, I should get a sled.
Let's
a
go
new
sled.
sled. Yeah. Okay, I'm holding you to it.
To touch back on the process of
Oh, yeah.
of the dropping in, I don't know, but I just kind of remembered that the clip that I had mentioned, the cab one tail press or whatever. I remember that day, it was an interesting little. It was that drop, and I had said, "It's a Dagmar rail."
Oh yeah,
And that was kind of. It started a running joke, where we
yeah.
were just
You're like, dude, it's just a down tube.
yeah, it's
And then
easy.
it kind of, I was like, oh, like,
yeah, and
yeah,
it
you're right.
clicked.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have to trip over this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's all.
And
it's
I
all
did it,
good.
and it felt so easy after you said that.
I think
I'm like,
that's
oh,
why that clip stands a little
Yeah.
bit in my mind, because it felt like a really good moment.
thank you.
I like that breakdown. I often say that to myself when I'm on a step down or something in the backcountry in the middle of nowhere, and you're looking, and all you can see is rolling mountains for as far as you can see, and you're up there alone, and all you have is the walkie-talkie, similar to you, and you're like, drop. I immediately go and I say, Blue Park jump Whistler, which that's our smallest jump park. And I go, I'm just riding a Blue Park jump with the homies because my friends are in the landing. Like, calm down. Like, don't overthink this. Like, you're good enough. You're capable. It's like, you've taken the right steps to be where you're at. Like, this isn't like, and it really helps me calm down. So if Marty's like, dude, it's the down rail at our local mountain, calm down. You're like, I got this then all day.
Yeah.
Even though you're like 100 kilometers out there. And, it's rocks. No, I'm just kidding.
Help.
But yeah, back to like what's going through my head before I'm hopping on a big kink is not much, I don't think. Like, I'm really, obviously, I get really scared. I'm nervous. I'm not like chilling. I'm, tripping out. Like, but then just, hop on. And I feel like the one you're going to do, there's part of me, like, whenever I get the make, there's part of me that's like, okay, fuck it. Like, this is it. Like, do or die kind of. Like, I'm going to go through it here. Because, you're not going to do it if you don't fully commit.
Yeah, that's one thing that, like, if you can't visualize yourself doing it, and if you don't think that you can fully commit, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there's some spots, like full closeouts. There's this one clip of Kuzik, and he does a front nose press, nollie 180 or whatever you want to call it. And if you frame by frame it, he's still nose pressing over the closeout. And it's like, those are the spots that it's like, there is no like, I'm going to try and do this. It's like, no, you got to fully go like, I'm going to lace right now.
And I feel like it's okay to like work your way to that. It doesn't have to be right away. Like, there's kind of safety zones. You can kind of like touch steel and then like, okay, I'm good here. I'll do that a few times.
Yeah, you find that like safe.
But there comes to a point where it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
It is wild because you two are such close friends, and I've gotten to experience filming with both of you the first year that Coulter made Mount Mountain Sub City, and I got to go on like an extended trip with both of you. And when you board slid that kink rail to that ledge, I was like, like the commitment on that is like, you can't just, like maybe I'll touch the concrete. It's like, if you go crooked on that or your edge goes into that, you're losing your whole grill.
By the way, that thing was dry. That ledge was absolutely dry. We might have like dusted a little bit of snow on there, but it was also like not your clean edge ledge. It was rough.
And I feel like that's something I can get better at, is maybe doing a bit more prep work.
Yeah, sure.
But when I get into it, I'm like, sometimes it's like, let's get this over with. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah. I like that.
If you're gonna go more into the backcountry, I would take Travis Rice's advice, where he says like, the newcomers need to do more prep on the in run. The amount of times that I have not gotten a clip because I rushed the in run, especially in the backcountry, like, I'll probably have to toe edge over here, but I'll just quickly like vert it out. And it's like, no, just do it proper. If you need to toe edge over there, give yourself an extra 2-3 feet so you can actually go onto your toe edge properly. Because halfway through the sesh, you're not going to want to just stop, especially in the backcountry where you have 2 to 4 hits on something. You don't normally stop mid-sesh to rebuild the whole thing. So just like taking that added time to actually like prep your feature is like pretty big. Because I think that like, you're going to go out in the backcountry and play around, but I could see you kind of getting kind of stunty out there.
Like in my mind, you know how I kind of hit like big kinks and do maybe like simple tricks. If I can kind of bring that to the backcountry of just like riding, I don't know, like crazy pillow lines and like, instead of totally like building a cheese wedge, I'm not the best jumper, but like just, I don't know, still riding cool shit. If I can somehow bring that style of things to the backcountry, I don't know if I can, fully do what I'm talking about, but
I feel like some of the more, the riders that stick out to most people's minds is the riders that can just ride the board instead of necessarily doing the craziest trick, and ride the board in a way that's like, wow, like that turn was sick, or that whatever. Like for some reason, those simplicity is really dope.
Like someone I look up to now is Joe Lax, who's also a firefighter out of the Pemberton base. He's like one of the elite few that's like top dog out there. But the riding he's doing in the Pemberton backcountry Whistler is something that I want to start dabbling in. But I know that's like a whole nother can of worms with like the avalanche safety and like the preparedness that like I'm not fully there yet, but it's something that, I'm looking forward at.
Do you know him at all personally?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I see him at the base, like most days. And
that would be a good mentor, because he seems like somebody that's his approach to the mountain, although completely mind melting, the stuff that he's riding, it just goes to show how much terrain we have here that people just don't ride. like Joe's riding the stuff that like Kai Peterson rides, you know,
Yeah.
big mountain, which we have here, but nobody rides it because it's hard to access on sleds. So a lot of people you either need heli budget or you have to be a really good sledder or know where to go. A lot of it's highly north of Whistler. So your home base is Pemberton, which is nice because like my whole sled crew lives in Squamish. So if you tell them that you're going to go north of Pemby, that's a 3-hour drive both ways. And people are like, do we get a hotel in Pemberton or like, where are we going? Because Joe rides things like up the Hurley and stuff, but
Like, I know it's a
great mentor that you could potentially utilize.
It's a massive reach saying like, I want to do what he's doing, but like, it's, you know, he's an inspiration.
In due time.
In due time.
Yeah.
Okay, worst slam you've ever taken?
Ooh.
I feel like I've been pretty lucky, knock on wood, with like injuries, like nothing too serious.
But you've
like, I've definitely gotten wrecked.
Yeah, but
let's go.
Like,
It doesn't need to be like, and then this terrible injury. It's like, what was like one of your big backdrop slams that you've taken?
Well, one was when I'm filming my Stairmasters. I forget, Burnaby or something, hitting this like really long wooden downflat down. It's like a mile long, and there's a closeout on the end. It's like I said, when I'm filming Stairmasters, it was like, you know, I will die for this. But yeah, it's funny. Jake Kuzik was actually there. We like linked up in the city, which is funny, you know, like my idol. And I like hit my head on the stairs and was knocked unconscious.
Damn.
Luckily, like, you know,
but
I was okay. But I was like, first time ever being like out cold.
Did you like that spot? Is there video of this spot? Is it anywhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, on Coulter's YouTube, Too Far From Dagmar. I can try and pull it out. It doesn't even look that bad, but like, you know, I hit my head and I'm out, and I'm doing the whole like
kind of.
Oh no, those. Yeah,
but on a funny slam, I wanted to bring this up at some point. Your boot shoot slam. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Seymour boot shoot.
Yeah, like
it wasn't necessarily a slam, but you.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
Hiking around Seymour without like my board strapped in, just like boot packing, trying to get in like this weird fucking space to fly off a cliff in, and then it just like giving out and me sliding off this cliff like a slide without my board on. Like nothing's worse than falling without your board on, you know, off something.
I don't know. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And how about that slam in Salmon Arms after I did the down flat down to the ledge? Remember I broke my tailbone? You were there.
Oh my god,
Like,
that spot was terrible.
Yeah, that was
that little boner jump
exactly,
you made.
the boner lip
the
with
planter
the
lip.
Yeah, and that's another scenario where like no time in. It's just like, yeah, let's get another clip ASAP. Like I made the boys pull like uphill bungee up this like wheelchair ramp, and then I found a planter and I just like put the planter where the lip is, then put snow up.
I mean, there was no snow at the time. There wasn't that much snow, so yeah, we were kind of using what was around.
So I go gap board slide, and I like go in back seat, air chair, and I get my board on the rail, but then my butt lands on the rail, like right in between, like, and there's a donkey dick on the rail, so I like smashed my tailbone on the rail, and then the donkey dick was like the final finisher, like, oh.
Yeah, you were icing in the bathtub for the rest of the trip after that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, for that bail, we got a Scandinave spa pass for Nick, and we got one for you too, Marty.
Thank you, Jody.
I'm taking notes on it right now. But
We'll go together.
This legendary spa here in Whistler has pretty much everything you need, from ice to cold to just peaceful rooms to the eucalyptus spa, everything really. So take a day off for yourself, Nick,
Thank you,
and
sir.
press the reset button before you get on that new Skidoo. What's the name of that new one?
Adrenaline.
The Skidoo. It's just
850.
850. Yeah. Dude, is it a turbo?
No.
Why didn't you do turbo? When the turbo engages, dude, it's so sad.
I don't know. He's like, do you want black or gray? Gray's like $500 less. So like, okay.
Chop me off for the gray.
Yeah.
Cost effective.
You didn't even ask like how long your warranty
No.
is. Any other questions? You're like, here's my credit card.
Gordon called me. He's like, are you going to spring check? It's your last day. I'm like, okay, like I'll call. I'm at work. I'm like, I'll call Al Bush right now.
Classic
What
peer
truck
pressure.
are you running right now?
1994 Toyota pickup. Pre Tacoma. I flat decked it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Dude, speaking of my truck though, on my way to your event there, do you hear the story of me like I'm doing a hill climb and the sled's like falling off? So I like stop my truck. My e-brake's busted. I like put it in gear so it doesn't roll. And as I'm adjusting the sled, my truck starts rolling backwards. The door is shut. I have to like run to my truck, like somehow like open the door, get my right foot in and slam on the brake. I was like lost everything there on my way to your event. Canadian Airtime Open.
Nice one, Nick. Okay, I wanted to ask you, is there any tricks that you've slammed on that have made you go, I'm not going to do that trick anymore? You ever get Billy Beaned on a back 270 and then you're like, clip your nose under and you're like, nah, done with that one?
No, like, I just can't do that. I won't get smoked, but I'll just like jump over the rail.
Yeah.
Remember that when I was trying back 2.7 on Delbrook? Like Hayden Wrench is there filming like landline, like
that
16
was a
mil.
Hail Mary, dude.
I was like,
that.
okay, well, like, imagine I back 2 this for like landline.
Honestly,
Or like
good call.
back 3 on, but like I got nowhere close. I was just like hopping over the whole rail.
Oh yeah, it was a valiant effort.
Yeah.
I think we all enjoyed it.
All right, we got a little question here. We're going to go through a little zone here called legal or illegal tricks. And then you just say if they're legal or illegal. And then people will have a better idea if they should do these tricks or not. Okay, so front side tail press, front 180.
Legal.
Definitely legal. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, hard to make it look good.
Like, can you name one that's good?
No.
No, but like,
Me neither.
I mean, could be sick.
But hey, I'd love to see a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
Great response. Okay, 180, switch 50-50, half cab.
Illegal.
Front 180, front 180.
But I was like trying to do one a couple years ago on this one in Quebec. If you were to press it, and then it's kind of, you know, like bring it back. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it could be sick.
Like
I never
a-
did it.
like
but
a-
I was trying it half cab, tail press, and
Right.
front one out. Because it's kind of like the pretzel in a way.
I mean,
like-
if you did it proper, like no crooked on either
Yeah.
Yeah.
pressy part, it could be sick. All right, front blunt switch up.
Illegal.
Sorry, Brian
Yeah,
Bowler.
sorry, Brian. You gotta stop that one. No, but he's so good.
Yeah, he's the best.
Okay, tail slide switch up.
Tail side? That's the same thing that you just said, but
The other way.
illegal.
So switch ups in general, just
Yeah, I'm not down with switch ups, but like swivels are kind of sick now.
yeah, it really depends. Yeah.
Wait, you're backing swivels over switch ups?
Like I saw Lane
I'd
do
agree.
it
I'd agree. To be
riding
honest.
park,
Yeah.
riding park the other day, like on just a down tube, like back 50, but then backside swizzle. And I tried one and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay, front 180, 50-50, 360 variations.
Illegal.
No,
I
no
never
question.
got into them. I could never do them.
Yeah, like the front 180, switch 50-50, cab 3.
I did. I think I saw Tommy do one recently on Instagram or something, and I was like, ooh.
I mean, if Tommy did it,
Yeah,
it's like
pretty hard to argue, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But fuck it, run it up, whatever.
it's like how like a double flip on a skateboard is like a
Right.
big faux pas. But
Yeah.
then Anton Dixon the other day did one, and I just read the comments, and everyone's like, "Okay, they're cool."
Yeah. Immediately. Okay.
Okay, flips onto rails.
Like I'd love to do one.
I love to see him.
Right?
Honestly, I love to see him.
Like
in some way.
underfoot board slide or lip slide. Like, you know.
Well, recently there was an Instagram there's a one tube, I'm not sure where it was, but it just kind of started popping off, and some people did, like, someone did a double onto it,
Oh,
and someone else, like,
Mons
Fridge or something.
Royland
Yeah,
or-
Mons
Mons
Royland
Royland?
and Fridge did
Back
something.
double 50-50.
Psycho.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, flips off of rails.
It's like watching X Games or the Olympics, like kind of sick watching like front blunt like McTwist.
Hey, the nose
So you're
pick front
saying if
flip.
you could do it, you'd chalk them up?
Yeah, if I could, I would.
Hey, nose
it feels so sick.
Nose pick front flip. That's
No,
technically
nose pick front flip?
Yeah, it's
That's
technically
like
a jib to flip.
Yeah, ongoing joke.
Yeah. What about nose pick to front flips?
That's
Yeah,
what we're
like-
talking about.
Like,
But you're down.
like
Yes.
if I like a joke from Marty on street trips, like we'd find spots and be like, nose pick front flip.
we both gave it a shot at one point or another. May have taken a
So
slam.
you guys are into nose pick front flips more than tail slide switch.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a joke. It's a joke,
100%.
but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and then the last trick, tail slide 270s.
Yeah, legal, 100%.
Like, take that, Jack.
Like, I wanted just to like make fun of you and say illegal, but like,
No,
I like tail slides are kind of look better than blunt same ways, blunt 270s.
Yeah, I know. But then when Tommy G does a back blunt 270, you're just like, okay, you can like the way he leans into them. I think it's about like that one's the way you lock into it has to be pretty proper. All right, changing gears a little bit. This section of the podcast is called Much Deeper. No, I'm kidding. But
I like it.
What motivates you to keep filming, and has that changed over the years?
What motivates me to keep filming? You know, chasing the dragon, trying to film that. It's selfish, but trying to film that video part that like you're super proud of, you're stoked on. That like, you know, you pull up YouTube, everyone's hanging on the couch, and you know that it has that song you like, that emotional emo punk song no one wants to hear. You know, you're doing a lip slide to that. You know, trying to film a part like that. And also just hanging out with friends in the winter. Like, not like, who wants to work in the winter, or just like go film with your homies? Like, that keeps me coming back. It's like what everyone does. It's like, you know,
there's something to be said about being in the trenches with your friends, I think.
yeah.
Like, what's driving you to film that part? Has that changed a lot in the last 5 to 10 years?
No, I feel like it's still like the same.
I'd say it's the exact same.
You know, still like, dude, like I have an addictive personality, and like the clip high, it's like a real addiction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I kind of need that.
Yeah.
Like, they should get doctors for this.
And it's so it's so fun.
It's an addictive feeling for sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, that like you do something that you may not have thought you could, and then you're like riding out to your homies, and that
like imagine a season and not filming and not getting that clip high. Be so bummed.
Like, that clip high is definitely real. Like,
so
think
like,
about that front three that you did. You said you rode away and then you cried.
Yeah.
Like, I've done that probably 4 times or whatever. It's typically when I shout out my homie Fred and I ride away from it, but there's like this emotional attachment to like pushing yourself beyond what you think is capable, riding away, sharing that experience with not just like some randoms, but your closest friends. And like, if they know that your batting average is pretty much 0 and you chalk up the sickest front three ever at Mount Seymour and all your friends just saw that, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, like I'm walking up Cody 69 there, just like, no way, dude.
There's also I feel like there's also those moments where there's like the darker moments that are also just as special and whatnot, but like there's also the moment where like block the wind, where you get hurt but your friends are there.
Bring that up for
block
a bit?
the wind. Sorry, I wanted to bring it up. There's those memories, those core memories that you just don't forget, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the inside jokes are definitely...
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I live for the inside jokes.
Yes.
And your crew especially, not only did I immediately feel like you guys had the best vibes ever, a good balance of like not being overly keen when you're on a trip, but still like grinding really hard and taking it serious, but like a really good balance of like having fun. And the inside jokes off that one trip when we were filming for Sub City, I feel like we walked out with like so many. Like, are you not entertained?
Those will go on forever. That's the thing.
Husband of a murdered wife.
husband of a murdered wife.
You know,
father of a murdered child. And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Are you not entertained?
Who said
Marcus
that?
Aurelius III.
Husband.
Very well done. Gladiator.
Dude, like getting honorably discharged from a spot, you know, like you get smoked trying something so dumb, and then you like have to go home. You get honorably discharged from the spot.
I love that shit.
Yeah, Jody, you're trying that switch front tail 2.7 Abbotsford
On the smallest kink in the world.
Yeah, it
bring
was
it back.
small but like short and steep, and it was a high ollie on.
Yeah.
So like you trying over and over, you're just bound to clip eventually. You get tired. You know, anyone, not just you. So yeah, you dinged. And then we're giving you first aid, like putting band-aids on your shin, like really bad taco. And it got kind of windy. And you're like, block the wind, block the wind. Like trying to put the band-aid on.
Oh, those memories. I think those are the memories
that's
that
what
keep you
keeps
going.
me coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, my God.
Imagine we never got to do that anymore.
Oh man. All right. Backcountry riders you're really hyped on.
Jack McDougs, Bryn Alexander, Blake Paul, Jody Wozniak.
No, you can't have that one.
Dude, no, you got something special going on. That like surfy kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a valid.
Like low to the ground, have fun.
Yeah.
No, it's really sick.
You're a standout every fucking
And like
time.
I said earlier, like some homies from the Wildfire Base, Joe Lax, Dave McKinnon, you know, like put a GoPro on the head and go ride down some gnarly shit. Like, I'm down with that. I want to do that.
Hell yeah, brother.
Get sketchy. I like that.
Okay, if you had to pick a favorite, who would you pick? Backcountry rider, full part, came out, 7 minutes long.
Like, I always think back to the Mark Solers In Color. And then that's also bringing back to the song they used. It's so good. I forget what it is right now, but I really like it.
Yeah, I really like that part too. Who do you think should have had Ender in that movie, Mark or Keegan? Because Keegan got Ender, but like those two parts are both mind melting.
Yeah, it could go either way, but I think it's sick that Keegan has Ender.
Yeah.
That front 2.7 on Red Ledge, but like he doesn't do it perfect. He's kind of like on his edge on the flat. And again, the song they use, like it
That
works.
song was so good.
Yeah.
I also really liked Mark had better backcountry footage.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan had better street footage, but Keegan had the flavor at the time, which was pretty much the hottest flavor that could have existed. Like it totally changed snowboarding. You know, every 5 years, those special riders, like, you know, you got your Chris Bradshaws and your Lucas Magoons and your, I don't know, Nicholas Muellers and Tommy Gesmes now and stuff like that just like completely change how like everyone's like, I'm gonna bite that. I mean, Tommy's had a big pull. Who do you think's got like the best style right now that's kind of changing the game a little bit?
For backcountry?
Or maybe a rail guy and a backcountry guy. They don't have to be the best, but you think that like people are kind of like, you know, that guy is where style should be.
What do you think, Marty? Give me a hand here. Put the wheels turning.
I mean, the obvious choice would be like a Tommy or a Louis, but if you're gonna try to dive deep, in terms of Canada, I mean, Quinn and Lowell and Jesse Jarrett definitely are stepping up to the plate. That's one thing for sure.
Jesse Jarrett is sick.
Yeah.
I like his snowboarding a lot.
Yeah.
Super down with that.
They're very. One thing that I admire about those two are they're very hardworking and they're very much into the whole process. But
like I still think I have like my few like, you know, staples in the grain of like Jed, Louis, Kuzik. For up and comer though, like watching Finn yesterday, Finn Finestone, and not forget about Finn Westbury. He's always on a sick one.
I really like the Jed, Louis, and Jake. Like that trio.
Like,
it's almost annoying at this point. It's been like them since like 2008.
I know, but like,
and it's 2020. It's like
still going.
16 years of just that trio just being like
the fact that
everybody.
they still hold on to that and they're still putting out video parts that still like
That trio's like modern day JP Walker. Everybody before that era is just like it's just JP, and now it's like it's pretty rare where you find somebody that's just like no Louis, that's it.
Three
It's
Canadians, by the way.
Yeah, totally. True. Chalk that up. All right, we got a little section here called Trench Talk, presented by Skull Candy. You can grab yourself a pair of those wireless earbuds.
thanks, dude.
I normally only give one away, but since Marty's an absolute legend, we're going to give both of you guys a pair of the Rail wireless earbuds from Skull Candy. Thank you for supporting the show. All right, on to Trench Talk. Okay, Nick. Or maybe because you guys are both in the trenches together, we'll get a Nick response and then a Marty response. Huge raise. Okay. Most played city to go film in Canada.
Most played city in Canada to go film.
There's two that come to mind for
Well,
me.
you're gonna say Quebec is one, right?
Well, the Quebec's not Quebec City.
Oh, city.
I'd say
Montreal.
Yeah, kind of a given.
And I don't. Calgary.
For sure, but that's
But-
Canada.
But then you ask the people that live there, and it's probably like, dude, they're building new shit daily. So
That's true. All right. How much snow should a city have before rallying the troops?
Oh,
depends how desperate you are.
it depends how far it is. I mean, actually, also it's. I mean, you could have a 30 centimeter snowstorm, but the next day it's gonna rain. So it's not necessarily how much, but it's how long it'll.
I feel like now in my snowboarding, like I want enough snow where we can make that landing backdroppable.
Yeah,
You know?
Love that take.
So how many centimeters is that?
I'd
That's
say, I mean,
like a foot.
yeah, backdroppable foot, but like if you're going bare minimum, I'd say like bare minimum 10 cents. Like, and that's when you're like you're putting in the work, you're kind of scraping it a bit, but yeah, like that's the minimum I would say.
What are your thoughts on quick when you're setting up a spot and you just quickly throw some snow on the landing? Like Dustbox has, I've talked on this before, but like there's just like 2 shovelfuls on the landing.
Like I'm down.
You think like quick in and out, just
Yeah,
get the clip and leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could agree with
I
that
get
for
where, like,
Nick for sure.
It looks kind of bad. Like you on your outrun, you want to like ride away.
Yeah, I've heard LeWiff speak, or I had LeWiff on the podcast during Ashbury week in December, and LeWiff was speaking on that, just like how much better it looks like when you can ride away. Like, what was Jake's ender in Enlighten or whatever? He has like
Switchboard slide on Sanalta.
Yeah, but what happens after? He rides away and he does a cab 3.
Yeah.
And the cab 3 to me seals that clip.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it depends. I'd agree with a lot of that, but at the same time, like you look at a clip like Cooper's clip, I forget which Dustbox video, but he did a bit of a line and a backtail too on this big, like kind of double down bar thing, and he lands on a pile of like not even a pile, I'd say just like a scoop, and then he just like rides through the
That
cement,
clip's amazing.
which is amazing. So like there's that like
like
depends.
if the snow's there easily and you can just push a landing, but like if you have to really like be farming snow, like fuck it, just have a 1-lane exit and just try and find it on your way out.
Okay. I didn't have this question, but I think it's good. You're going on a trip, you're with the group. How should the trip roll out so it's the most productive possible? Do you think that it should be rider and then it switches each day? Do you think it should be jam format the whole time? How do you like the trip to play out?
I think like it's kind of been going like, you're up next. Whether it's like in the day or like maybe no one gets a clip that day, like you're moving on to the next rider. But for me, it's just kind of been like, who's stoked on what spot? Like, who's really keen? Like, let's go there in the morning. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get a number on the board.
Yeah. I feel like we've been, in terms of trips, like we've been pretty good at like trying to like keep that like your turn. Like we go through the line. Like, but if that next person doesn't necessarily have something, we kind of like, okay, you're keen on this, and it's 5 minutes away or whatever. Okay, we'll
it's
do
fucking gnarly, and you want to go do it. Like, let's go there.
Yeah,
I like that. How high should a jump be onto a rail?
I don't know. I'd probably make them pretty high, but whatever's quickest, just
fucking chuck a scoop full there and just go. I mean,
I don't know. I think like you build it out to the first step.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of like a rule of thumb. That way, it's like less of an ollie on.
It's interesting because Ben in his recent podcast, he was talking about how you shouldn't put out a step, which I was thinking. I mean, it depends on the rail. Sometimes that rail doesn't necessarily like where it ends, where it starts at least. You kind of have to put out a step or so.
And if you put it out a step, it can be more flat instead of like a little
big jump
kicker.
Yeah. That's a tough question. I think it just depends on the spot.
I honestly don't think it matters too much.
No, I don't either. As long as it doesn't look, as long as it's not like aggressive to the point where when you see the clip, you're like, what the, whoa.
Yeah. And I think it's cool too when people put like pallets maybe on the lip or like
You like that?
a little bit of lumber they just find around or
That's
like a planter.
I like it.
I
Too.
actually
know,
don't,
like,
I
I'm
don't
down.
quite like that, but I had that conversation with like a few other people, and some people, yeah, it's interesting that some people like it and some people don't.
It just makes the ramp of the jump look smaller. I mean, if I was a team manager straight up, which, I mean, who knows at this point? I might just become one.
Yeah.
Just because I think it would be rogue to do for just like a year and just fucking make it wild. But like, I would look for that. Like big pop, you know?
Yeah.
Like someone who's just like not building a big ramp and is just like smaller rails, more pop. I would take note of that if I was a TM because I think it would be sick. Like you're not maybe getting the back 270 on, but you're just getting a front board, but you're like not really building a jump. Like sometimes like Quinn has clips like this. I mean, lots of people do, but where you ride across like the grate and you pop and just hit the rail. It's a smaller rail, but it's full pop.
I'd
It's
say
like kind of sick.
That is cool.
Quinn's a good. I mean, dude, I rode with him this year, and he was very much like no lit, like to the point where it's just like, dude, you could put some snow there.
You're like Marty's trying to cab 270. He's like,
Bruh.
I don't want to knock my teeth out again, man.
Come on.
And like on kind of topic of snow, like put their own snow on the stairs.
Yeah, a little bit. For
And
sure.
for a big reason, I think, is saving your base. Like you ride through a set of stairs, and there goes like 5 kilometers an hour of speed for the rest of your trip.
Honestly,
That's why I'm into the snow and the landings because
Yeah.
it's like, how many boards do you bring on a rail trip? 2.
one
like-
thing I've learned about the stairs, the snow helps, but at some point the edges of the stairs just stick out. And recently, if you rub brick the edge and then wax the edge,
Yeah.
you're gliding through those stair sets.
Yeah.
So honestly, if you do that, you almost don't need any snow. It's
And
interesting.
that's putting in that extra bit.
yeah,
that, like,
that's
goes
that
a
extra
long
bit.
way.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that,
would-
that prep work.
I would get snow, bring it to the front of the stair, and then pack it on the like when you have like really shitty cobblestone,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Tommy Pickle. What's his last name? Why am I not
O'Reilly.
Tom O'Reilly? Like that spot that he got destroyed on because he went into those cheese grater stairs.
Yeah.
Like at that I feel like one of the last spots he ever really got buck on.
Oh yeah. That was a bad.
Like
hill. Yeah.
I helped set up that spot and I didn't go to it the next day. I actually think you were doing that back 50-50 on that really crazy kink the next day and he went to that other spot. But anyways, like old gnarly stairs, I would like bring the snow forward and bring some salt and like pack it on the edge and then it would turn in overnight and then it's just like ice and you can just fucking zip down it.
On that topic too, this year in Halifax, Matt Cochran was trying to play the hip.
Plug.
Yeah, he was hitting this like super long rail, like marathon rail.
Oh
like,
yeah, I know the one.
like super long manual.
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He tried board sliding it and came off early, like second hit, and then just instantly stuck on the stairs, tomahawk, like bleeding, wrapping his head in with a t-shirt, like
All in the prep work, I guess.
yeah, honorably discharged. And it's so funny, like me, Derek, and Dara are shoveling the landing, and then Derek's like, dude, he's not making it here. What are we doing? And no snow on the stairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're worried about the landing and
Yeah,
not the stairs.
Who are we kidding?
That's optimistic. I like it.
All right, what time should you get up in the morning on a rail trip? What time should you be getting after it?
You know, I think like 8 a.m. You know,
8 a.m. the
solid,
alarm
yeah,
goes off,
Yeah.
and then you're out of the house when?
Well, I feel like it should be like you know, like you're going to work. Work starts at 8. You know, up at 7:30.
Oh, okay, up
But
at
that's
7:30,
like-
out of the
Yeah,
house
out
at
of the
8.
house.
We all know that doesn't happen.
No.
But like
Who takes the longest to get ready?
That's an easy question.
Frank.
Yep. I love you, dude.
But he also puts in the most work staying up late
Yeah.
on his phone,
Shitload of
Google
work.
Earthing.
Google Earthing.
Like,
he'll go build at night. All
He'll
that kinda
hook up
shit.
spots for the homies,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So he's putting the work in late night,
Yeah, but he does love sleeping in.
Research.
He loves to sleep.
research and development.
Yeah. for
How
sure.
secretive should you keep spots?
Yeah,
Depends
I
on their
think it-
tier of friendship.
Yeah, and I think it's like a kind of a fun game in the snowboarding community of like, you know, maybe keeping hush hush. It makes it more fun. It's like a scavenger hunt. Like,
Good way to put it.
but like, yeah. But you can like trade spots. That's cool. It's like trading
That
cards.
is
Like,
dope,
yo, I'll give you
yeah.
this spot for that spot.
Pretty sick.
That is. Have you done that?
It's like a Pokemon trade.
I don't think I have really, but like,
I mean, we've definitely given each other spots.
Yeah, like this year, like Quinn hooked up like a spot Bible for Halifax.
Yeah.
Damn.
That was really sick.
As well as like I feel like there's just certain spots that scream a certain person. Yeah. So like sometimes there's just like, okay, this is an Adam spot, or this is a Nick spot. Like it just for some reason screams that specific person. You just kind of like, you want this? I know you do.
All right. How many boarders are too many boarders on a trip?
I feel like the magic number is 3 boarders, 1 filmer, 1 photographer.
Marty, would you concur?
I'd say it could stretch to 4, but 4 gets sometimes a little hairy depending on who's in that 4. But 3 is definitely like max productivity for sure.
So 5 is too many.
5's too many.
So if you're hitting something that's like sessionable and you're hiking, a 5-pack on like 1 down rail.
Yeah,
it's just.
But it's like at the same time really sick too when you're riding away and there's so many homies in the landing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the chiller the spot, the more homies can ride it.
Yeah, like when I did that really stupid spot in Montreal, like rode over this concrete ledge, landed and onto a rail. There's like 7 of us like in the landing drinking beers. Everyone's like arms in the air, like woo, partying. Like
like the one where you slurm off the concrete like barrier and then you 50-50 that long straightaway and then you pan to like everybody's just drinking in the hallway.
The stupidest spot I've ever hit by far.
The fucked up part about that spot was the fact that we were all standing in the cheese grater alley, and if you had fallen off the left side, you would have bowling pinned all of us.
Oh yeah, like you're
but we weren't thinking about that at all.
Down with
me. Yeah, all of us would have been smoked, but you laced, and that was a
honorable discharge.
Yeah. All of us.
If I'm out, we're all out.
What do you say when you're dropping in?
It kind of changes. I feel like as a kid it'd be drop. And then I feel like it kind of went to border. I don't know why, but border. And now sometimes I don't like saying anything, and if you have a visual on the filmer, you kind of just like put your hand up.
I feel like the hand up would be if the spot was buck.
Yeah.
Because border's like, I'm about to have fun, border.
Yeah.
Border Bob.
I notice if I'm like really serious and scared, I'll say like the drop, like
in the zone.
Yeah.
Border's a little bit more like, you're having fun. You're trying to board slide hop something.
Yeah, but then you could take the border to another level and be like, border Bob.
Yeah, border Bob's a good one. You got a drop?
I usually just say drop. I really like Matt Cochran's versions of things, which is just like calling out people's names. That's always a good one.
Yeah, he'll say something so random, like someone won't even be there, and he'll be like, Jody. like what? Is he riding right now?
Yeah. I like that Steve too, for sure.
Stupid sexy Matt.
Yeah.
How many 50-50s in one part is too many?
Maybe up to 3.
I think that's a good number.
Yeah.
I
Front
agree.
side or back side, whatever.
Yeah.
Solid.
Using a clip, but you don't come off the donkey fully.
Yeah, it sucks. I know. Like I've been there. I'm like come on, we can edit and post. But I should keep going and come off a little more square.
Yeah. I think that's when the friends kick in and they're like, you know what, you can do it better.
Yeah. But you did that double board slide in Montreal. I think kind of came off not perfect.
Yeah, definitely came off. But
you noted it.
I knew that was a thing, but we got kicked out. We got to the point where the cop was gonna give us a ticket.
It
is what it is. You go back 3 times, you're not gonna go a 4th.
I think go back. I honestly would do anything for you to go back and do a better board slide on that, because that's the sickest thing ever.
I appreciate that, but yeah, I wasn't.
Is it still there?
It's there,
dude. You should. Yeah. A laced board slide on that is an iconic clip. The clip is still sick, but
it's one of those things though. We went 3 times, I think, and to the point where we were I was taking time away from the other riders and shit, and then we got threatened with a ticket and all these things. So it was just kind of one of those things where it's just you got to take what you can get.
It's noble of you.
Hopefully you're taking from the riders that don't pay the film or anything. Oh wait, you paid nothing on this whole trip? Yeah, your turn can wait. What's the take on that? If you're paying the filmer, you're paying for the minivan, you brought you're the guy with a bit of a credit card, and then you want some homies on the trip, I mean, we always juggle with that in the backcountry too. Like Raz has more budget than, somebody this year or whatever. Like, do you think that should there be any priority or anything like that, or?
Maybe priority a little bit, but it's really sick then, like hooking up someone who's not getting budget, giving them an opportunity to shine. That's like, I feel like a big part of it too, like giving back giving back to the homies, like give them a shot to shine.
Yep.
So it's sick having people a part of the project that's not, totally there financially, like paying the filmer.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Dustin Craven once said to me, he's like, "You're gonna be really bummed if I'm ever not getting paid, Joey, because I'm really fun to have in the lot." And I'm like, it's true. Like, you want those people to remain. Like, it's so sad, and you guys are in this really interesting time frame where people are getting older. Coulter's like maybe not going to film next year or whatever, but he's always been your filmer, you know what I mean? And then now he might not be. And then like Derek maybe or maybe not filming. He's not riding anymore. TJ moves on, Lucio, who you guys used to film with, has moved on. And at one point you're like, fuck, maybe we should have gave Matt Cochran another go because he's fun to have on these trips. You know what I mean? Like you want to keep people around that are fun to have around.
Yeah, and big shout out to TJ Koskela.
Yeah.
Like,
TJ.
He'd come on trips and like he's a chef and would make the sickest meals for us, in the Airbnb.
If you can't bring budget, but you can cook, do that. If you can't bring budget, but you can work harder than anybody else, like maybe Franks doesn't get good at getting up in the morning, but what does Franks do? He stays up till 2 a.m. finding everyone's spots on Google Earth because he's a magician with that shit.
Jokes, smokes, or tokes.
Yeah, totally. Green out. How many beers is too many beers on a trip?
Oh, shit.
I mean, depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, like if you're trying to board or like just hanging out.
Like before you're going to go hit a spot the next day.
Oh, the night before.
Yeah.
You're not talking about during.
Well, let's say like that. Well, okay, let's say the night before and during.
Like it depends on the trip. I know in Montreal, we were going out every night, kind of. Like we were having fun. Yeah. and I know that's like not the most productive. Like days are short. Yeah. Like life's short. We should like be on it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like it's so fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's those times where I like having the older person on the trip. We went to Japan one year, my first time ever, and it was me, Jeremy Kluche, Jeeves, Colin Adair, Eric Green, and Colin Adair, the photographer who's older, who's been around in snowboarding forever, who I need to get on the show. He was like, damn, like, we should leave filming 2 days early. Like, these kids need to see Tokyo. They need to, and we were all like, no, like, we want to film clips more. And it was until we were in Tokyo, all hanging out, we were like, okay, the lip slide clip I would have filmed or the small front three, like, this is part of the trip. Like, you want to go to that nightclub or whatever with your friends when you're in Europe or whatever, and experience some of the culture in these cool places that we travel to try and get clips.
Yeah. I mean, you get memories while filming the clips, and you also got to get those memories outside of the filming process.
Yeah. I feel like I blew it in Japan. We just kind of did like 2 weeks of boarding and didn't save any time for Tokyo. I mean, sidebar, but
yeah, you blew it.
Yeah.
Well,
next time. Nick,
thank you for coming on the show. Huge fan. Marty, thanks for being an amazing co-host and relaxing our guest. We got kind of a concluding segment here, just a couple questions, which will probably take another couple minutes, and then we're off to the rodeo.
And I'm off to the rodeo.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Best style currently and back in the day.
I should have done my homework before coming. Okay, best style currently, Cody 69.
Sick. Good answer.
And back in the day, maybe Travis Parker.
Oh, good picks.
Yeah, what do you think, Marty?
I'd probably I'd say Devin Walsh. That's just the no grab Steve. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my go.
Good answers. Career highlight.
Career highlight, becoming a guest on Airtime podcast. Yeah, I was like, before coming here, I'm like, hey, I need to like listen to one. I've listened to a lot, all of them. But I was like, hey, I need one right now to refresh. And then I'm like going through the names. I'm like, holy fuck, like, what am I doing on here?
Because you're the best, Nick.
I'm like, yeah. Landing the front three at Seymour. It's so lame though.
No, you cried.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's not that lame.
That's not lame.
Not
That
lame at all.
that one struck a chord with you, clearly.
Didn't you win like a Vans high standard contest?
Wait, what have you won again? Peanut butter rail jam?
Career highlight in Kelowna, Big Way. I went to a Vans high standard contest. I won 300 for best trick, backlipping like a down flat down, classic. And then I brought the 300 to the casino. I did like double or nothing. It came out with 600, and I got like one of those fat checks. Yeah. You know?
And you doubled.
So like someone wrote like the 300 of the amount, and then someone wrote like times 2. That's, you know, getting a big check. That's a career highlight.
Favorite piece of steel to see in the park?
The soup can rail. You know, like a Campbell's soup diameter like can.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's the best diameter for sure.
Good pick.
Yeah.
What keeps you up at night?
Yeah, well, you know what keeps me up at night is a switchback 5.
Okay.
Like I think they're like one of the sickest tricks to do, and I can't do them.
You the switchback 1 to front 3.
No, yeah, but like I can't
not that
I can't
simple,
combine
Jody.
the two. And I'll go like switchback 3, then start going like forward cork.
That's why we have you on the podcast.
A back row.
Who do you think's the GOAT at Mount Seymour?
There's a few. Russ is the GOAT.
Yep.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Russ Lee.
Couldn't be a better answer.
Yeah.
Most underrated boarder.
Probably Goran Hall. He he doesn't really care about snowboarding, but he's really good. Has a lot of tricks. Like he's got these like switch nose press back ones that look like Tommy G.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing on your bucket list.
Land a double cork.
Sick.
No, seriously.
You did do a double wildcat.
Yeah, double backflip, but I
Yeah.
like more spin in there.
Yeah,
Like
right.
double underflip or backside double 9.
If you landed the
10?
front 10 double and rode away, would your claim be the same as the double backflip?
Yes, I would say yes. You would ride that shit
No,
out
no.
till the end of time.
I'm keeping those hands down.
I think the claims are like sometimes the claims sick. Like especially when you're like riding away from like a banger that you know is like the kind of like yes. Like I'm kind of hyped on that. Who's the GOAT?
The GOAT, female, Desiree Melanson.
Whoa, nice pick.
Great plug.
And male GOAT, Jed Anderson.
Whole day. Jed's so good. It's annoying.
Yeah.
All right. Shout outs. Thank yous. Yeah.
Shout out to my sponsors, Ride Snowboards, Salmon Arm, Handwear for Dummies. Mom, dad, sister, my little niece, Addie.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, all the Mountain homies. The snowboard community. Taylor Ricci.
Good lineup there. And then we'll end on what's next for Nick.
Well, we already kind of talked about that. The spring check. Talk to Al Bush, see what I get with that.
See what I paid for.
Yeah. It was $1,500, not $1,000 too. I got where the extra $500 come from. But,
Inflation.
Yeah, I still want to ride, still ride steel, go on trips. When Vancouver gets snow, it's like, you got to go down. I know snow's good here then as well, but like, it's rare they get snow, and I still want to get some street stuff. Then try and, learn more in the backcountry, ride powder, have fun. Try and get some clip highs.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks, Marty.
Yep.
And we're off to the rodeo.
Yeehaw.
Thanks for having me, Jody.
Thanks, Nick.
Love you guys.
Peace.